what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon, so a massive shout out of appreciation to Open Minded, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Mike, Henrik86, Muted, Dick Earth Skeptic, theflatearthchannel.com, Chris Hillman, NA Literalist, Steve ALM, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Rob H, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As The Earth, Nathan Thompson, The Real Gabster, Windrider, Missouri Bear, Liam Nedrick, Dank, Erwin Jennisons, Abraham Mohammed, Dave Rakia Gafford, Naibai, Adrian Quintana, Skeptic936, Life is Short, Fireball X, Felix Hung, Texas Mike, Edwin Johnson, Kirsten Smith, Tina Baker, Alexander Main, and David Wayne Foster. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. I'm going to raise the mic on whoever is in the G Plus and Discord panels so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Yeah, this is called live stream.
We're not live.
Too late. Oh, you're not live. Okay. I was like, oh my god, it might be recorded.
Well, generally, you always consider anytime Nathan's in the channel, you have to assume it's live.
Exactly.
So you saw Nathan in the channel to ask the question, "Hey, is this live?" Assume it's live. Just assume.
All right, great. How often do you know Nate? How often are you new to Nathan's show?
No,
Okay.
I just didn't really talk. I listened for a very long time, but yeah, I know all the guys. I'm from 24/7. So
Okay. Well, hope you're enjoying yourself.
yeah, I like it here. It's quite it's quite interesting because it gets kind of boring talking about flat Earth all the time. So I want to come to a server where people at least claim they want to talk about the globe once in a while, even though they very rarely do. But at least they talk. At least they try. I went to Gem Panda server, and all they do is talk about the flat Earth all day long, 24 hours. But they never make any claims. They just talk about how dumb flat Earth is. Because
Actually,
then there's large swaths of complete silence, like hours go by, and no one says anything. Then someone stirs the pot, and they suggest flat Earth. Then they screech for the next hour or 2 hours until the person leaves, and the person leaves, and they talk about that person for like another 15, 20 minutes, and then the server goes silent again.
yeah, that's her. Oh, go ahead, Nathan. Oh, wait, I don't know if he was talking. Maybe he's just echoing. My experience. Let me tell you my experience with that server, the Jim Benz. I already know who the person is. I'm pretty ignorant about that server. I was here when I first started, and then I got familiarized that this is a show and this is Q and who he is and everything. That server, those people not only shit talks the flat earthers, but they shit talk the globe earthers as well. Because as soon as I gave my unpopular opinion about NASA, because I don't trust NASA, because they lie and that's a fact, they started. Actually, it wasn't even that. It was I was defending a flat earther there, because they're just there to make fun of them, and I was defending them, and I didn't thought that was right. So I defended a flat earthers or a certain person. I don't remember who it was, and then I got shit talked after that, and they just started literally actually for some. They followed this strange behavior where they literally followed me to this server and started making fun of me, or started putting shit on the chat room. I'm not making this up. This actually happened from that server, and I was just I was just I was laughing. I was just shocked. I was like, "What the fuck?" Those people are not normal. A lot of those people are not.
They're atheist, is what the issue is.
They're very bizarre people.
Yeah, because even if you go there and try to talk about religion and stuff, that's a real. Their problem is that they're atheists, but they're
They just
atheists
want to
who
make
can't.
fun of the flat earthers. That's ultimately what that server is.
Well, yeah, here I know. I'll tell you why. Because they're atheists who basically got rickrolled by theists for years. So now they looked for a group of people that they could do that to, and they thought flat earther was the low hanging fruit. They'll challenge a flat earther and then make fun of them like the theist had did to their atheist. These really dumb atheists that they have no idea what they're talking about. Like, I don't see God, so God must not be real. That type of atheist. Like, if God was real, why is there ham sandwiches? Or something, something like that. So anyway, okay, so if you go to that server, I used to go there, and we would go there, like, I would go there with Jen. I'm not sure if you're familiar who with Jen is on 24/7. And we would like back each other up and stuff. And then eventually, yeah, it didn't matter what you say. Like, at one point I actually busted out oh crap, I'm trying to blank on the guy's name. He wrote a book about black holes. Oh shit. I hate when this happens. Oh, sorry for swearing.
Hawkins.
There we go, Hawkins. So I went to a book bin that it was like I bought like a used book sale, and they said if you buy $10 in used books, you can take any one of these books just in a box for free. And there was a Hawkins book about, I can't remember the title of it. It's like Infinite Time, Infinite Space, or something like that.
A Brief History
And
of
so
Time.
I just, oh, there we go. Thank you, Nathan. So I flipped open the book to just some random page, and I just started reading from it, but I kind of read it as if I was talking, and kind of stumbled and did a little, and well, okay, then if you did it this way, and this dude Curve in D20, their only challenge was, Curve said, I know nothing about black holes, I'm completely ignorant about science, and I read exactly from Hawkins' book, and then Curve asked me if I assault children, and he could tell this because of my voice, that I must be, I make sure I stay away from like schools and whatnot. And I'm like, so I can read from Hitchens, and your rebuttal is, I don't know science and I need to stay away from public schools. That's kind of when and then finally I stopped going over there because Mark Taylor figured out who I was, because of the Flat Earth Discord. And it's not hard to figure it out if people really want to dive into it. And he said next time I come to the server, he's just going to post my real name.
Mark Taylor's an idiot.
So I said, screw it. Yeah, he basically threatened me. He said, if I ever come back to the server and start talking about, anything again, or if I piss him off, he'll say, I'll just post your Facebook. It's public knowledge. I'm like, well, fuck it. Damn it. I'm sorry, Nathan. Okay. I'm really gonna be self-aware here. Okay, so I said I'll just stay away. It's hard because I got kind of a sailor's mouth. I normally am pretty good. I don't know why I did it today.
A whole bunch of drama, man.
Yeah, I'm a little fired up this morning because of what happened in chat.
You guys focus too much about what these guys think. Who gives a crap?
Right. That's all they've got to talk about.
And move on.
Oh, I don't even go to that server. This was like a month ago that happened.
Expose the lie and move on. They believe it, great. They don't, okay.
That server is like honestly just a waste of time. It's just.
Yeah, it's more about video gaming than anything. If you go there and talk about video games or just listen to their conversations, because Gem Panda, he plays this game called World of Warcraft. So if you can get him talking about World of Warcraft,
idiot.
he's a pleasant dude. Like he plays like some sort of panda monk creature or something like that, and he does all these different spells, and he's got this guild of people that follow him about the game. If you get him talking about that, it could be kind of like, sure, that's kind of cool, dude. That's a nice community you have there.
Kind of pathetic.
Yeah, to each their own, though, I guess. I mean, if it makes him happy. I mean, there's a lot of people who play that game.
I'm not a gamer. I guess if I was, I would have a different outlook on it.
It's like I'm a pinball. That's what was huge when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too. I was the pinball wizard. Who do you think they wrote the song of? Yeah.
I could buy the sense of smell.
The only thing is I wasn't deaf, dumb, and blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, my father had a candy store. My father had a candy store back in the day, Gloria's Sweet Shop, named after my mother. And he had pinball machines. Just when the electronic games started coming out, poor graphics, but it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people. The first video game I ever played was called Grave Stomper, and it was like a car that drove around and ran zombies over. And after you hit a zombie, it turned into a tomb, not a tomb, a tombstone. So then, eventually, if you hit a tombstone, that's how you died, and the game was over. It was like kind of a weird, kind of like an easier version of, say, like Asteroids, almost.
Sounds like it would have some grave consequences.
Boom, boom.
It did.
Good morning. What did I walk into?
I was trying to look up who this was quoted to. I thought it was Eleanor Roosevelt, but then you look it up, this quote, which I haven't given yet, and it's claimed to be misattributed to her. Apparently, also not correctly identified as being a quote from Admiral Hyman Rickover. Nevertheless, small minds discuss people, average minds discuss events, great minds discuss ideas.
There's more to that, isn't there?
No, that is it.
Yeah, I love ideas. That's why I feel like it's always talking about, let me hear your idea. Just the idea of talking about ideas is even kind of interesting. The thinking man.
Yeah, as it was discussed at the beginning of this about whichever server, the idea of discussing how people are, how stupid they are, and then telling them not to be in the presence of children, are all just ad hominem attacks at the man. Small minds discussing people. The nature of reality is the other end of the scale, and what we get lumbered with is people calling us thick. That's the level, that's the discrepancy. What are you talking about? Oh, we're talking about the nature of reality. You retard! Earth's a globe.
Yeah, the professor did not want to talk about the scientific method last night. He only wanted to talk about why flat earthers believe space is fake.
He's still in there right now, Neil. And the funny thing is that a flat earther will give him like a 2-minute explanation, right? Or a 2-minute description.
Don't answer any questions.
Yeah, he'll respond saying, "Oh, I didn't hear anything you just said." So it's like,
yeah,
I don't know.
That's why he's playing them.
So head in the sand then. Head in the sand.
Any question, he'll just ask them.
Yeah. We get the equivalent here where they talk through the rebuttal because it's being recorded or broadcast. So if they haven't let it be heard, they can move on with whatever point they like. But alternatively, if it's not the case that you're actually causing a commotion, you can just go, I didn't hear any of that. Stick your head in the sand, basically.
Yeah.
Or he said to Whitsitt, I didn't listen to any of that word salad. And I'll be honest, I didn't understand what Whitsitt was talking about, but it sounded good.
He did it 2 or 3 times. That was the thing. I thought it's a tactic or something. He just didn't want to talk.
Well, the good thing Whitsitt said was, he said, I thought talking to a professor, you were the only one that wouldn't hit me with the word salad nonsense.
Yeah, he's quite the character.
Yeah, word salad. I'm going to stick my head in the sand and ignore all of it. It's a hand wave dismissal.
You mean Spencer?
Why don't we believe in space? Because we have gas pressure. And to have gas pressure, we must have containment. It's claimed that the heliocentric system is an open system with gas next to a vacuum, not filling it in violation of natural law. There you go. Couldn't be any more succinct, concise.
Yeah, Jedi talked to him a little bit about it. This guy claims there's an infinite infinite space for gas to continually travel to.
So there's a huge vacuum for the gas to fill. Yeah. No, there isn't. That's in violation of natural law. That's why we don't believe it. Because it violates natural law. The gas would fill the space. We'd have no gas anymore if there was an infinite 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum above our heads. We haven't got a vacuum above our heads. The sky is not a vacuum. We know this because we have natural law telling us how gas behaves, and it is inviolable. It's never to be violated. If the second law of thermodynamics was violated by a sky vacuum, it wouldn't be a natural law anymore. Now, the only thing to justify this is mathematics and reification.
What do you think his
Nathan.
demonstration was, Nathan? The sun, planets.
Begging the
That's
question.
his demonstration.
Yeah, it's begging the question. Thunderfoot did the same thing. Point at a light in the sky and claim that that's a burning ball of gas in a sky vacuum not dispersing, in violation of natural law. In other words, appeal to your fundamentalist religious belief to prove your religious fundamentalist belief.
Nathan.
He sent satellites up. He sent satellites up.
All right.
Not to a sky vacuum, he didn't.
Nathan, can you hear me?
Did.
We hear you, 10th.
All right. So we have a large area called space that's infinite, and we have gas, according to what Neil was saying. So now, how do you get pressure?
You don't. That's why the sky is not a vacuum. You'd never have gas pressure.
So
Hey, what do you mean what Neil is saying?
What you were
No,
detailing.
I'm not saying you personally. I'm saying how you were saying what this guy was saying. So even if they say space is infinite and large and there's gas, okay, explain the pressure.
Or to put it another way, how can you have gas pressure without containment? Answer?
He also pointed to the mountains.
Say again?
He also pointed to the mountains. How
What
at
about
the
them?
bottom of a mountain,
What
as
about them?
opposed to the top of the mountain. He was arguing for the gradient as usual.
Yeah, you can't have a gas
How do you
pressure
get-
gradient without a container either. So to form gas pressure, for then to be in place a dynamic system with a gradient, requires gas pressure in the first instance. First gas pressure, then gas pressure gradient. So to form the gas pressure, you first must have containment. Then you can form a gas pressure gradient. It's a delta of gas pressure. So to assert, oh, well, we've got a gas pressure gradient, well, that's fascinating. You still need a container for that.
Yep. And he left it. He only wanted to debate for half an hour on his terms, what he wanted to talk about, because he had to go. So he left after half hour, but continued on the chat for hours.
Yeah, they're bullshitters. They just need their special terms because they're on the losing side of the argument. Limited time frames, special terms. They're subjects only, etc., etc., etc.
Who are we talking about?
Just Phil Bell.
Retro reflector?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Water vapour isn't gas. A hydrologist who doesn't understand that water vapour's gas. Yeah, a moron. Just Phil Bell.
Yeah, that's...
You're wrong about that. He's a certified moron.
See, I like it when it's quick and over. When the nonsense comes and it's dissected for what it is, and it's quick and it's over, and the audience could see there's no argument that can stand from the fallacious point that they always start with. And this guy has to probably jump around different Discord channels just so he could talk, because when he comes here, he ain't going to last if he ever comes here. So chat is where they live, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I just don't pay attention to these people because that's what they want. They want people to pay attention, but they're spewing nonsense. So it's time to dismiss these people.
I agree. I see a lot of them as completely surplus to requirements. What do they have to offer? There's limited moments when they have something useful, like when the Black Swan first came around. Well, at that point, yeah, you could argue that they've got some useful input. Let's hear what your rebuttal is. Well, at this particular moment in time, do they have anything useful to offer us? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think they get their... they want attention, but, come with a good argument and we'll give you good attention. But if you come with the way you're coming, we're just going to dismiss you. And for people to still engage these people after they've been embarrassed, they get what they want, the attention. Even though it's bad attention, they get it.
They're pawns. They're pawns on the chessboard, just there to waste your time.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks at least on this show, it's been breath of fresh air not to have hardly any of them show up. We've covered housekeeping questions in detail, excuse me, and other matters, and we've had some real good nuggets come out and good conversation. It doesn't always have to be a brawl.
His answer for the Black Swan was looming.
It's the answer still looming. Is that what you're saying?
Looming.
A refractive effect that isn't actually the refraction used in their geometric mathematics. They use terrestrial refraction at 7/6 of the radius value, which would require a radius value. And to have a radius value, you need a geometric horizon.
Yep. It took him to the woodshed on that.
I remember one baller saying the minute you walk out your door, your tree in front of your house is being refracted.
Yeah. Their model implies that everything's being bent around the surface of the Earth at the rate of r, with 7/6 as the applicable factor, which is variable at any point they choose to vary it. However, their claim involves everything, everywhere, always being not where it's supposed to be, refracted. What you see is nothing's where it's supposed to be in their model.
Mm-hmm. Except every morning when I walk out, my tree is exactly like 10, 12 feet from my door.
Yeah, their worldview is nonsense. Perspective exclusive side-on refracted worldview. It's bizarre. It is weird when you think about how they view the world.
Well, they have to say those things because they don't have a physical geometric horizon to point to.
They've only got one claim of cause as well. What's causing this obstruction? Well, it's the physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, blocking the boat or building or whatever it is that's being obscured at a rate of our mathematics. Well, Anthony Riley showed me something very interesting this morning, which made me smile. Hopefully he'll come on and detail his idea. So he showed me an observation that had some obstruction in it, and then he showed me on Google Earth the line of sight between his observation point and the target, with nothing obscuring it. And he explains that basically the thing that's getting in the way of the target, which is in this case a ski slope at about 12 miles, but he explained that something in the near foreground's obviously bigger, right? There's a ridge that's relatively close. It's not in the way of line of sight, but because it's closer, it's bigger and it's causing an obstruction. Now, the obstruction looks just like any other claimed to be Earth curve obstruction picture. However, if you actually run the maths, it's way, way, way before any Earth curve would ever be observed, right? So it's never going to be attributable to Earth curve, that's the point. But Anthony's saying, well, at this point, we've still got the same effect though, haven't we? Now, they've only got one cause. They can only ever claim Earth curve. But if we have the same effect, and it's prior to their mathematics kicking in, and you've still got a justifiable reason to ask what's causing this obstruction, it's just an obstruction, right, at the horizon. Why not ask what's causing this obstruction? Is this Earth curve? Obviously not. It's prior to the Earth curve maths kicking in. But it still needs justifying, right? It still needs an explanation. Now, we know what the explanation is. It's perspective. Something in the near foreground's got a bigger angular size than the thing in the far distance. Therefore, it can easily obscure it. But in their mathematics, they've only got one cause, and that's Earth curve. So I think, and Anthony is, obviously this is between the two of us chatting about it, but based on his observation, I think we should challenge them to this. Okay, what's causing this obstruction? Oh, well, it's something to do with Earth curve. Yeah, we know. Does it mean that suddenly we don't justify it because you can't attribute it to Earth curve? Does it mean that you're suddenly in a position now where you have to find the alternative explanation and justify it with things like perspective, which are not in your maths? Because we're still going to want a justification for why we've got obstruction. You demand it when you've got a false dichotomy to present along with your claim. Oh, well, is it your perspective? No, it's Earth curve. Well, what about in this example where it's prior to any Earth curve ever being calculable? We've still got an obstruction. What's your explanation, Globehead Fundy? And bearing in mind that whatever explanation you give, and it definitely can't be Earth curve, will be something that's not included in your mathematics, leaving you with a very big problem. You're explaining something with a factor that's not included in your religious worldview, that we've got a physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon that you call Earth curve. Well, if that's not a factor, and you've still got something being obscured, and you what, just ignore it because it's not attributable to Earth curve? No, it's still something that's being obstructed. So what's the explanation? Bearing in mind that whatever answer you give will destroy your worldview also.
Yeah, this totally makes sense. I think I've used that before with people. I think you've said stuff like that before, but I like it. Let's do it.
It's 90% credit to Anthony.
That makes sense. I mean, it's in a common way with some connections. That's what they're doing with the black swan. They're saying refraction. When I said, well, look, it's 1.22. The first oil platform is 6-something miles. The second one's 9.41 miles, and the horizon, the Earth curve, right, is behind the second one. So now what Anthony's doing is saying, let's pick some picture or some incident where something's being obscured where it shouldn't be, where Earth curve can't be. And then what are they going to say? Well, of course they're going to be, weasel out and say refraction probably again. Sounds silly.
Yeah, it's ludicrous. They'll, potentially assert that the physical topology of the land is ignorable because refraction's actually brought the horizon and Earth curve closer.
Yeah, refraction brought it closer. They'll smile when they say it, though.
But they can never use that argument again. I mean, it might take another 6 months for this to actually sink in because of the black swan, but it's always worth reiterating. In order to base any refracted values in Earth curve terms, you're going to require an R value, which means you require a geometric physical sphere edge to be a horizon, to measure it and calculate it and give you the R value in the first instance. So beyond your presupposition, at some point it's claimed to have been measured by Al-Biruni to give you the R value to base the refraction on, to then move the horizon with the refractive value based on the horizon that's geometric and then can't be seen. The whole thing falls in on itself. The whole model implodes.
Yesterday you said it well. Can't see Earth curve.
Yeah, the physical...
Can't see the geometric horizon is their Earth curve, but you can't see it.
Yeah. We wouldn't expect to see it. It only exists in maths. What only exists in maths? The geometric horizon. It only exists in the mathematics. We wouldn't expect to see it. We can't see it. You wouldn't expect to see this physical geometric sphere edge horizon. That only exists in maths. Is there another name for this physical geometric sphere edge horizon that only exists in maths, that cannot be seen and cannot be measured? Yeah, we call it Earth curve. Tomorrow I'm going to say it's blocking a boat.
I was at the 1 hour, 16 minute, 40-second mark of yesterday.
Is it really blocking a boat?
No, it can't. You can't block something if you can't see it, can't measure it, can't be seen, only exists in maths. Then it can't physically be blocking anything. It's a mathematical reification.
It's that whole Muppet vision.
There you go, Neil.
They love their mathematics.
Yeah, it's abstract. Take it away from the physical and the real. Put it into the abstract, and then you can do whatever you like. It's genius. Other than it's not real. Other than it's not physical. Other than disclaimers that geometric physical obstructions only exist in maths. leave you with a relinquishment of a claim that physical, geometric, sphere edge, earth curve obstructions blocking boats and buildings. Dead.
It's so silly.
Go on, 10th.
It's so silly when they exclude perspective, because anybody can prove them wrong by just a long road trip on a nice straight, flat kind of highway where you see a mountain in the distance. I've used this before, where the mountain in the distance looks small. Let's say it's a 10,000 foot mountain when you're right in front of it. So, literally it's a 10,000 foot, mountain, the height. But as you're driving towards it, it looks really small. The telephone poles in front of you look bigger than the mountain in the distance that you have not yet reached because of your distance to it. The buildings that you stop by to pick up snacks or fill up your car with gas block it. But then when you get to the base of the mountain, the telephone poles and the buildings there are like nothing. The mountain just stands up. It's just huge, 10,000 feet high. So how in the world? Everyone's experienced this with other objects. I'm just using this one example. How in the world do you exclude perspective?
Turn your worldview side on into what's called orthographic view, where you see the side of your own head on the left-hand side of the page and the target on the right-hand side of the page, and then you attribute actual size values to the targets. So if the mountain in your example is 1,000 feet, well, it's 1,000 feet mountain at 100 miles, at 1,000 miles, at 10,000 miles. It doesn't matter what distance you attribute in orthographic view between the two things, you looking at it and a target. You just draw a single line between the two and the actual size never changes. Now, in reality, when you're taking a picture, number one, you don't see the side of your own head. When you're taking a picture, you see a perspective view of what's coming into your eyes. You do not see your own eyes. That's how they remove perspective. Also, the things that you see in the distance will reduce in angular size, not actual size. The further away they get, the smaller the angle becomes. Now, you ignore all of those things, that would be perspective, when you turn your world side view. We call it Muppet vision, because you see the side of your own head. Yeah, just ignore perspective by putting it in orthographic view. Simple as that. And then what the effects of perspective, call them earth curve.
Wrong. A child can understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Hey, Adam.
Hey, all right, mate?
Very well, very well. How are you?
Oh, good, son. It's lovely and sunny, isn't it? A lovely
Beautiful
sunny
day.
afternoon.
Blue skies. Lovely.
Come and laugh at a bowler.
Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, sir. How are you, my friend?
Wonderful.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now, we are joined by 10th Man, the Adam Meakin, and Arwin in G+, together with a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Good morning.
Good afternoon, everyone.
What's up?
Hey, Adam.
All right, mate.
Hey, thanks for those words in the early bird show in my chat. I really appreciated that.
That was only true, my friend. I get sick of people attacking you on that pathetic little thing.
They always do that.
Yeah.
They have to. They have to squirt.
Yeah, exactly. That's,
Anyway.
I think the important thing is that I think most people realise the effort and dedication you put into providing what you're doing.
I know. It was a good show today.
Yeah.
Hey, did we hear? Did you guys hear? We're going to Mars. We're going to Mars. They got all this new CGI of what they're going to do, and it's so beautiful. No.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container for the gas to press upon, given that we're all breathing gas at pressure, and it's claimed that Mars, this light in the sky, is actually a rock in a 10 to the minus 17 torr sky vacuum. So given that it's claimed that Mars, the place they're now claiming to travel to, is in a sky vacuum and we're breathing gas pressure, is there any evidence whatsoever that we can have the gas pressure without containment, as asserted by NASA?
Ooh. Well, overall, no. But in this case, I actually addressed that a little indirectly, because if I was going to be too overt in that chat, they were probably going to ban me, like a couple of other flat earthers that tried that. So I asked them, like, hey, yeah, I'm seeing the boosters in the animations, it's like, look at that flame. But in the footage, the supposed real footage they showed, there was nothing. So then they said in chat, yeah, that's just the animation, I don't know why they even show that. But yeah, in a vacuum, you don't see that. So it's in a vacuum, you say. But then it means that, yeah, if you don't see it because it's in a vacuum, that means that all that gas in the tanker that's supposedly firing, pressing, it's just going to vent in all directions and not be able to find any kind of momentum or like a surface to press against. No counter pressure to actually create thrust. So how does that work?
It doesn't. There is no vacuum.
Nobody responded to that one.
Yeah, there is no vacuum. Wherever they claim they're travelling, they're not. Because they're claiming that the area that they're travelling through is a vacuum in the sky, without the gas we're breathing filling it, in violation of natural law. So no, they're just lying. They're not travelling to a rock in the sky called Mars, because that light in the sky is claimed by them to be occupying a region that would take all the gas we're breathing away from us. That would be a vacuum. Now, obviously, we're still breathing. Therefore, there must be containment for us to have the gas pressure. Not a sky vacuum, quite the contrary. We must be contained. Without the container, there can be no pressure.
I don't know, man. The CGI was pretty convincing.
Oh, yeah. I've seen science.
I think we might have to revise the law of nature there, because it's just too convincing.
Well, didn't Matt Damon already go there and come back?
Matt Damon.
Good morning, guys.
Good
Hey,
morning,
Chocolate.
What time?
Choco.
Morning, mic check. Morning, guys.
Good morning. Hey, Rebel.
Hey. Yeah, I have evidence.
Oh, here we go. This should be good.
Yeah. So, 1969 Apollo mission. That's my evidence. We got pictures and video.
Where did the...
Listen,
I was just told that myself.
This evidence will stand in court.
Okay. Where's the pictures, you say? Where were they claimed to be taken from? Where's this journey supposed to have taken place?
In space, like...
Sky vacuum.
10 to the power... 10 to the... whatever.
Minus 17. Yeah, minus 17.
Power.
Yeah. 10 10 to the minus 17 Tor sky vacuum is where this is claimed to have taken place, right?
That's right.
No, it didn't, because if that was the case, then we wouldn't have any gas to breathe. The gas we're breathing, that would fill that available volume instantaneously. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. It's the entropy law. Gas wants to fill the availability of volume it has to fill. And fill it must. It's inviolable natural law. So no, the sky definitely isn't a vacuum. So if they're claiming that they travelled to the moon now, and the moon, this other light in the sky, this bigger light in the sky, is actually a physical rock that they can travel through a sky vacuum to get to, no, definitely not. Total lie.
Also, it fell apart in court too.
At the arena, we were just told.
1960.
The arena, we were just told that proof of curvature is the Himawari 8 by Professor Retro Reflector.
I listened to a little bit of that, Chocolate. That was funny.
that was his proof of we live on a ball. His pictures, cartoons from second law of thermodynamics sky violation.
Didn't Paul on the plane dismantle that idea of Himawari?
Let's just do it again.
Well, this is a guy
Paul did a
that
good
says
job.
he puts these things up there too.
Where
I'm
did
talking
he
about
put
Phil.
Let's just deal with that. Chocolate's already done it in summary, but let's just do it again for Rebel. Sorry, where's the Himawari claim to be again?
Where is it again?
I get it. It's a space. 10 to the minus 17 Tor, negative pressure.
Not negative pressure. No. Just 10 to the minus 17 Tor is not negative pressure. You can't have negative pressure.
What do you mean? It's to the negative power. There has to be.
Yeah, negative
pressure.
power. Less and less orders of magnitude, less stuff in it. But you never get to a point where there's less than nothing. You can't have that. You can't have negative pressure. Just take my word for it. Let's move on. So Himawari's claim to be in this sky vacuum. Oh right, no, it isn't, because that violates natural law. The gas we're breathing would fill the space. If this black area here. Yeah. If this was a vacuum, all of the gas here, which is high pressure, wanting to expand in all directions, would just fill it. And we'd have no gas anymore. This cannot be a vacuum. It's preposterous. In fact, it's a violation of natural law to assert that this is a vacuum. So see this dude over here? Yeah, floating around with containment. He needs containment to stop the gas from expanding in this fantasy. Well, the gas on Earth would expand also. That's what gas does. No Himawari. Same thing. Nothing ever claimed to have taken place in space has ever taken place.
Nathan, do you represent the entire body of science? Do you have like a PhD? How can you say that? They have pictures.
Yes. BSc, SSc.
Not online.
Bronze swimming certificate, silver swimming certificate.
Nice.
Here's what we got on this show. Logic. Simple, easy to ascertain, and backed up. They don't have that.
Yeah, they have pictures.
Logic. It's honesty and logic.
They have astronauts that claim to be there. They giving interviews, traveling the world. What are you saying? They're all lying?
Hey, Rebel, I can help you get this, okay? The Apollo program lost in court twice.
What are you talking about?
I posted a link in the live stream text chat. The atheists in the 1960s sued the Apollo program twice, and both times they could not even prove they were in space, so therefore there was no freedom of speech violation. Read the link. They lost in court. So that was your first claim, that this evidence would stand up in court? No, it did not stand up in court.
Wow.
Hold on. Did anybody else know this? Hold on. Did anybody else know this?
What?
What was
Could we elaborate on that story a little bit?
Is that a no, Adam?
Yeah, that's a definite no.
Crap, my browser crashed twice in the middle of that story, so I didn't catch it.
Can anybody who's in G+ go to the Discord server and please present this information as it's been posted?
No.
Chocolate I've talked to Chocolate about this before. I think so, anyway.
I blame chocolate also.
What was it? What did I do? What are we talking about?
We're talking about how the atheists sued. Apollo lost in court when they tried to. Apollo was sued by the atheists, and the Apollo people from the Apollo could not present evidence to prove that there was a violation of the First Amendment when they read from the Bible and took communion on the moon.
What? You never talked to me about that. I've never heard that. But that's interesting.
They read from the Bible.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, the link is right there. It says
You
the dark
posted
history
something?
of atheism.
All right,
And
let me get it.
Tyson has read that atheists need to shut up about the Apollo program.
What do you mean by atheist? Is like a name of the group of people?
Yeah, the American Atheist Foundation. They self-identify as atheists.
I see.
Give us a quick summary of what you're saying. So far, a group that's united here in the United States, an atheist group, sued NASA and the Apollo because they read scripture. And when it went to court, NASA's defense was they never were there when they said they read scripture. Is that what you're saying?
It's a Master B, Nathan.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, this is what.
Thank you, chocolate.
Okay, this is basically the claim. That the claim was that when the Apollo 8 read on Christmas Day from the Bible, they read Genesis, the atheists said that was a violation of the separation clause. Then the next thing that happened was they took communion with Apollo 11, and atheists sued that too. So then when they were in court to say that these were violations of the First Amendment, NASA was supposed to present a case. Their first case was that your human rights do apply in space, but they lost that. They lost that way to dismiss. So then they were supposed to prove that they were in space, and they couldn't. So their fallback claim was they basically read from the Bible here on Earth, and anyone can do that, even if you work for government. You're allowed to read the Bible. I mean, that's really pared it down very quickly, but that's kind of the gist of it, without getting into legal, mumbo jumbo.
Okay, so can I feed that back quickly, if I may?
Hold on.
Do you mean that?
Hold on.
No, I can't. Or
So they couldn't
yes, I
even
can.
prove. They couldn't even prove in court that they were in space. That's big. That's like bigger than big.
That's the bit I wanted to focus on too.
But it was not what it was about. They basically said, no, we didn't actually go there in a defense on something else. So that's what seems to be the case.
It sounds like
that was their
astronauts read
defense.
from space.
Like, how dare you read the Bible there in space? And they basically said, no, we didn't actually do it there. It was on Earth.
Yeah, that was their defense.
Yeah, that's so they
I see.
basically admitted that they kind of faked it in court. They admitted that as a side issue.
So then the astronauts were on Earth reading it, not in space, basically.
Yeah.
Can you give me context?
Again, Rebel?
Yeah, click the link. The link is right on our space heritage. They talk about the dark stain of the Apollo program, all the lawsuits that followed it. It's all done.
Can you see it, Nathan?
I've got it up. You're presenting it. I've had it up since you were presenting it, Adam. Yes, for the audience.
Quickly scroll down so it's all watchable.
So just so I understand the broad strokes, they were sued for reading the Bible in space for whatever reason that's action worthy, and their defense was to say no, it didn't actually happen in space. Technically, it happened on Earth. It didn't happen in space. That was their defense, correct?
Well, the first defense was that they're allowed to read the Bible and then the counter was, well, no, you're not. If this was a government sanctioned activity, you're not supposed to do it. So then they couldn't present proof that they were actually in space. So they just said, well, it was here on Earth. That's kind of the gist of how the case went down.
So because they couldn't prove that they were out in space, it was just taken as read that they were on Earth by the judge.
Yeah, that's what the first judge kicked it down to the lower court. Then the second judge said no jurisdiction. And then that was it. Case dismissed. Apollo program could not even present proof that they were in space to begin with.
Yes, but it was to their advantage not to present the evidence.
Got a bit quiet,
to
Rebel.
win the case.
Try again, Rebel. You've gone really quiet.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were telling me to be quiet. It seems to be to their advantage not to present the evidence that they've been in space to win the case.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
I think the point Rebel's trying to make, though, is that typically your web of lies is going to get more convoluted if you present anything. So a better defense is to keep tight-lipped and say nothing. Is that what you're trying to say, Rebel?
Yeah.
Yes.
But Rebel's first claim when he came out swinging this morning was that this evidence would stand up in court. It doesn't. When they had the chance to be presented in court, they balked.
Playing devil's advocate.
Well, you're talking about specific case. You're talking about Apollo 11?
And number 8. Both 11 and 8.
I know nothing about Apollo 8. I know about Apollo 11. Didn't Apollo 8 blow up?
No, Apollo 8 actually read Genesis on Christmas Eve. Each of the astronauts took a turn and they read the Bible and broadcasted back to Earth.
That's the one that just did a quote unquote orbit of the moon, right? They didn't land or anything like that. Was that the same one?
Yeah, they did a flyby, apparently, to scout for a landing site.
Right.
So they read from the scripture on the flyby of the moon, but NASA says, no, we read it from Earth.
That's what the court case decided. Yep.
Interesting.
I don't know what you guys read.
Well, thank you very, very much. This is news to me.
Never heard that before, yeah.
If it's true, and I believe I believe that is true, then that's big news.
Well, I gave a citation for this. This is old news, actually. And also, Tyson has gone on rants about how atheists need to be quiet about this. And you have, he says, basically, he did a Twitter post about, or a blog post about, the title is, if you search it, Tyson, atheists need to shut up about Apollo. You'll find it. He breaks it down in more detail about how the court case was such a.
Well then, I propose to you. Then who are we to say there can't be space next to pressurized gas if court case has decided that? We just have to refer to court case, saying we have no evidence. Court has decided that. You know what I'm saying? Once the ball is point, and that's the first line of defense, Apollo, NASA, space agencies, right? You point to the court case, that's it. You shut the argument down.
And now there's been court cases after that too, like the Garcia guy who won in court when the atheist tried to sue him over curvature, a curve calculator, and he had like a $20,000 bet. That happened, I think, was it like 2 years ago now or something like that?
Less than that. It's about a year ago.
Does anybody else find it strikingly hilarious that these guys are reading from Genesis as they're showing this magical spinning water ball in a vacuum?
Oh, it's an outrage.
It's hypocrites.
Are you kidding me? I just looked at this now. I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all reading Genesis while showing this fake cartoon ball in the back? Wow.
They're not obviously not reading Genesis.
Sounds very cultured. It sort of sounds very anti-Christian in a sense. It's kind of weird to even hear that.
Yeah, anti-Christian.
No, they do it all the time. This is part of their deception to take scripture and bring it in this form of theirs.
I just posted it in
to grab
Skype.
all the.
Sorry, Tim.
Yeah, it's all right. This is a way of connecting with people who are somewhat religious who don't read their Bibles. So those people say, oh, they're reading from Genesis, so the Bible must attest to this. But they don't know their Bibles, and it's the opposite.
Well, it could have been like a ceremonial mockery type of incident, right? It could be them getting a laugh out of it.
Yeah.
Well, it was also too about trying to portray like Nixon as somehow that Nixon, God is on Nixon's side. God chose America to win the space race, and to be against Apollo was to make you a communist. It was a dark time back then. It was really dark, and people have kind of lost that page of history too.
Was the first day, and God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. Let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
And that, to me, I don't know who played that. I've got the pictures up, but I was going to ask which part did they read? Because if they were reading creation, then it would seem logical that the purpose of this is, as Tenth alluded to, is to mix and bastardize the two so that you've got the scripture and then the visual image. So it's for you to start to accept.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Very well said, Adam.
Yeah, this is
A ceremonial mockery.
Yeah, it's a very
it's without putting too fine a point on it, it's pissing in your face.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And it was
It's
a
called
dark time.
being
People were
Clockwork
breaking
Orange.
up.
Yeah, this is what the whole Apollo program was. It was just basically a huge, Nixon flex. It had nothing to do with science. It wasn't real. It never happened. It was all about geopolitical positioning.
What are you talking about? He called them up from the phone. Are you kidding me?
Wait a second.
Directly.
Hey, I can talk about the phone real quick too, because I was alive during that time. So that phone was like the meme. He had this green phone that he could make anything happen with just a phone call. Because Nixon was so tough that he could basically force you to do what he wanted you to do over his green phone. It was kind of like a joke, like when Obama said he's got a phone and a pen. Yeah, like the bat phone.
Realize,
he had
Nixon was so
not to go
Nixon
on the
was
tangent,
so powerful
but you said,
that when he used that phone, all calls had reverse charges, so he never had to pay for it.
Yeah, he picked up that phone and things happened. And that's kind of why they filmed it in the Oval Office like that, because they wanted to show that Nixon was in charge of the Apollo program. He was the guy because God chose Nixon.
And then meanwhile, in the background, he's got the picture from Apollo 8, right?
Yeah, it's the symbolism. It's the symbolism.
Isn't that funny?
Glorious.
That's cute.
And it's interesting too, because we talked about how the toxic globalists are. So I tell them, I was alive during this. I remember doing all this, and telling them, and their counter is, no, you weren't. You're not almost 60. I'm like, really? That's your counter, right? Your counter is, I wasn't alive for this. So even if I wasn't, we'll just hand wave that, right? Sure. What's your counter now?
You're not real.
Well, wait a minute. There's like video of Nixon with the phone, right? Doesn't matter.
There's video of him on the phone. Yeah, there is. That's it for me. I'm convinced. He was communicating.
We're gonna have to see proof of your birth certificate.
There's a parent footage.
Was that signal being? Am I wrong? Was that signal being like relayed like all across the Earth? Like, didn't it make a whole circle around the sphere to get to its destination?
Yeah, it was relayed from Australia. That's correct. There's a movie about it called The Dish, Australian movie about that exact thing. And by coincidence, on the front cover of the movie, I don't know if it's the poster or the front cover, but either way, the shot has got a picture of a massive dish in the background on a field that's filled with sheep, and a television screen with a picture of the moon landing on it, and a couple of sheep stood on top of the screen. So that it's a television screen surrounded by sheep with a picture of the moon landing on it and a dish in the background. And that movie is called The Dish.
What? So that's hang on. So that's how they pulled the wool over our eyes.
Yeah, check it out. I'll see if I can dig it out. I'll go and dig out the cover while you chat amongst yourselves.
Boom.
Wait, hold up. The movie is about that phone call?
It's about the relay from Australia.
Oh, okay.
This thing in your face. You're right, Nathan.
Greatest phone
So
call
somebody
ever
said
made.
Nixon did something for geopolitical reasons.
Bah humbug. That's too funny, man. Yeah, I remember Nixon and his phone.
Well, one of
It
the
was
best,
ridiculous.
one of the best evidences for Apollo missions came from the mouth of that astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson. He said, "We know we went because NASA calculated the fuel required to go to the moon."
Hey, that's chocolate line.
Great argument, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got it up on screen for the audience. There you go. There's the, I don't know if it's a poster or the cover of the DVD or whatever, but there it is. There's the dish. All these sheep looking at the moon landing. The relay antenna behind.
And the sheep
That's hilarious.
And it's great because the imagery is so true, and the sheep still believe it.
Pissing in your face again.
Wait, was this supposed to be like a mockumentary or something? Like, why do they have a cover like this?
Comedy.
Oh, it's a comedy. Oh, okay.
Well, maybe they use sheep because they want to ram it down our throats.
Oh, ram.
Well,
boom, boom.
Well, if it's a if it's a comedy,
Boom, boom.
People, they know. So they're telling you, look at you guys, you sheep watching this crap.
That's why I saw chocolate. An analogy there of the sheep watching it on TV is what I'm seeing.
Me too. Bah.
I'm going to do a few shout outs. We're half an hour into the live show and we've covered one housekeeping question. So, shout out to Matthew Lemones. Hope I've said your name correctly. Who's joined as a penguin. So, thank you very much for joining. If you do want to join as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, it means you get the Uncut and After show immediately after it's finished recording, or however long it takes me to render it, as I do it immediately, rather than waiting a couple of days to check it out on the Nathan Oakley channel, which is my second channel. So you can still catch the Uncut and After show if you subscribe today to my second channel. There's a link below, or become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, as Matthew Lemones has done. Also, shout out to Clearly, who says, Bev destroyed B-Ball for life in Emma's latest video. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat, Cleary. And also Al Junkie, who says, you guys following the open brackets fake Perseverance launch? Is that what it's called? Didn't know that. No. I'm not. But I'm not you guys. So you guys?
Oh, and is that what it's called?
Sorry, what?
Like Perseverance. Is it
Perseverance? Yes. It's a tribute to COVID. Persevering through the COVID. All the freaking NASA morons are all wearing masks and shit and talking about masks throughout the whole fucking thing. It's retarded.
Oh, we can all watch it apart together.
Yeah, it's a masturbate.
Right. They're very proud that they were able to do this and organize this despite the devastating COVID situation.
Organise what? Something to travel? No organisation is really required. That's a lie also. On account of the fact that wherever they claim this thing goes, it's definitely not going to a second law of thermodynamics sky vacuum, because that's not real. So, yeah, I'm sure it's no trouble at all.
John Thor has a video out called The Great Masturbate.
Worth doing housekeeping halfway into the show? Probably not. Before go housekeeping today.
Well, we can talk about sheep, or we can go to the next housekeeping question.
Take a vote. Who votes to do housekeeping?
I do.
Bah.
At least one more.
Yeah, go for it.
Again, Dan?
It's tradition. You should do it.
Tradition. Oh, well, if it's for tradition.
No,
it kind of is tradition, though.
Actually,
it would be weird if we did a whole show and didn't do housekeeping at all.
I don't look at it. I don't look at it as tradition. I look at it as a death blow. Each question is a death blow.
Exactly. They
Fair
haven't
enough.
been answered.
Okay, I don't mind. Either way. I got a more enthusiastic response that time. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No.
What's gravity?
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Nope.
Himawari 8.
It's in a sky. It's in a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum.
But
Not
we
according
know
to
that the
Professor
Earth is
Phil
a
Bell.
ball because we know that it's up there, so therefore we know.
Up there? Where's
You
there?
got evidence.
Where's up
You got
there?
evidence.
A vacuum? It's not.
Sky vacuum. Hell yeah.
There isn't a vacuum. So him saying I know it's up there. No, we know there isn't real.
But it's
You
there. As a matter of fact, we received data that tells us it's there.
Oh right.
No. They calculated it.
Well,
It's math.
it's not just that though. If you ignore those fundamental premises and look at the pretty, weirdly coloured pictures and then reify them, you've got all the evidence you need.
We asked Just Phil, right? Like what did he do when he was apart? Because he told us how he was the guy putting up satellites, and that ended up just being him watching the launch, right? But we asked him, did you do anything in particular? And there was nothing. It's like he watched the launch.
Scorpion, what was the tool he said he had for the sun?
Say that again?
What was the tool he was telling Whitsitt he had for the sun?
Then what tool?
I'm not sure. I don't remember that.
What tool did he tell Whitsitt he had for measuring the sun? Is that your question?
Yeah, and the heat of it and something like that. Because Whitsitt was saying, "Yeah, I know you got cool toys there." He was claiming something. I couldn't hear because it was going in and out.
Yeah, he said I don't remember the name of whatever he said, but I mean the guy does nothing but obfuscate and dance around, doesn't answer any relative questions whenever he was asked about the geometric horizon, and went back to Himawari. I mean, like that guy's a real clown. And Whitsitt handed him his ass this morning, so pretty good.
Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Nope.
Well, I can't get a degree at looking at stuff, man.
Degree in what?
Looking at stuff.
Yeah, you can get a degree in looking at stuff. It's definitely not scientifically valid. It's definitely not a viable hypothesis.
You can't scientifically look at stuff?
You can say it, making your claim pseudoscience, but some people won't realise that.
Does pseudo mean real?
No. Pseudo means fake, sham, not real.
Oh, okay.
Bogus, pretend.
Intentionally deceived.
Only the sheep look at stuff and say that.
Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No evidence for that. We would know it.
But what about orbits? Orbits. Prove. Axial rotation, right? No, wait.
No, orbits is a begging the question fallacy. Your assumption that the bodies that are claimed to be physical actually just lights in the sky, their movements are either circular or elliptical around a presupposed spherical Earth, or in the case of other elliptical patterns, the same thing applying, that those bodies are falling around with this begging the question word orbit. As soon as you hear orbit, it's automatically assuming the entire premise of a spherical Earth and things falling around it. You're never going to show me an orbit. Show me orbits. Show me.
I could.
Go on then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an online travel site.
No,
Show
it's
me
a gum.
one
I remember
show me
that
one
too.
body falling around another. Show me that without pointing at a heliocentric fundamentalist religious belief by raising your arm up to the sky. Beyond a fundamentalist assertion, show me an orbit. Just a begging the question
Crickets.
fallacy. Right, self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. Any evidence of that?
No.
Not
I
even a
abstain.
little bit.
Oh, Alwyn,
Can we get back to orbit for a second?
Hold on, Alwyn's been practicing his response for this. Go on, Alwyn.
I was waiting.
Go on, Alwyn.
P waves and S waves.
Oh,
man.
chocolate!
S waves.
You're beating us. That's the end. That
we
proves
just know
the core.
that. We just know it. So yeah.
You have to say it incredulously. P and S
I don't
waves.
know how to be incredulous, man.
P waves and S waves. That's how you say
I
it.
think so.
Yeah, they got him
I
wrong.
got something to say about orbits, Nathan.
Oh, we're back to orbits. Go ahead. Who's making the question now? Rebel, go ahead.
Yeah. So you asked us to show the orbit, and my answer would be look up in the sky at night. You see satellites.
I said without using a religious belief to prove your religious belief. That's akin to pointing at the sun and saying, you know, when you say the sky's not a vacuum, look at that burning ball of gas in a vacuum. Me presupposing it's a vacuum proves it's a vacuum. Me presupposing that what I look at in the sky is bodies falling around one another. That's a presupposition.
Yeah, but we see satellites, Nathan.
Do we?
Yeah, I see them every night.
Where are those satellites again?
Well, hold on, Chocolate. You're too keen. Too keen.
Sorry, but I don't see them. You know, there's supposed to be like over 30,000 of them up there. Pretty close. I never seen any of them.
Where now?
Up there.
Where's there exactly?
Up there.
Would it be a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum, 10 to the minus 17 torr, as per the claim of heliocentrism, in violation of natural law? Definitely not true.
By the way,
well, maybe they're hanging on balloons or something. But then you wouldn't
Maybe.
even be able to see them anyway because they would be too small to see.
Maybe the satellites we can't see in the area that's not real are actually in an area that is real, but hanging on balloons, we just can't see them.
Right.
Of course, makes perfect sense.
While orbiting a supposed ball that we've never seen that's got a geometric horizon that we've never seen. Yeah.
Right.
Have orbits.
Well, if there is hanging something up there and it actually does something, then if you can't see it anyway because it's too far away no matter what you do, then yeah, it's very easy to basically just put any story about that. Like, oh no, they're actually these space devices that are moving around or hanging geostationary, which makes a lot of sense, right?
Perpetually falling at the same rate that Earth's spinning. That's what that claim is. Yeah, orbits begs the question. Is everyone clear? Orbits is a begging the question fallacy. Does everyone understand that?
10 waves from Sunday.
Geostationary still makes no sense to me. Geostationary, the idea of an orbit, like falling in a direction, how can it hang still and then still have enough momentum to keep on falling in a circle around the Earth, you know, without getting
the claim
pulled back in by gravity?
Okay, the whole bullshit presuppositional claim of a geosynchronous satellite is that it is falling around a claim to be spherical Earth, but it just coincidentally is falling at the exact same rate that they claim the Earth is turning. It's total bollocks. Orbits is a begging the question fallacy, and the claim involves it being in a second law of thermodynamics violation. Sky vacuum. Shout out to James Richard. Globies don't picture a flat Earth in space. Sun, moon, and stars are up there for Earth. Earth is not up there with them. Welcome to Flat Earth.
But Nathan, we can calculate this orbit. We can write it on a graph. We can calculate the spin, the rotation. We can do this on paper, and even you can even use this with a computer and it all calculated. We can calculate it all out, so it's real.
Perfect.
Yeah, but you can't do it without RNG, though.
Hold on. What's an orbit, Paul?
Something that doesn't exist because there's no space.
What is an orbit? Shout out to Leonardo Gonzalez, who says, hit the super chat, people. Support your own. Well, thank you very much, Leonardo. I really appreciate it. And I totally agree. Smash the super chat. What's an orbit?
A thing falling around something else, around the supposed spheroid.
Right, things falling around other things. Right. Show it me. Without using a presuppositional fundamentalist religious assertion when pointing at the sky.
I'm not pointing at the sky, Nathan. I'm using a computer model, and I'm using paper and calculations. That's what I'm using.
Okay, and in that computer simulation, do you have Earth pictured as a spherical object with a presupposed R value?
Of course I do.
Any evidence of the R value? Earth radius.
Black Swan.
Did you guys hear QE's debate with negative exponent?
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, it was deliciously gentle toe tag, but negative exponent attempted to debunk, or claimed he debunked Black Swan, but pointing out that radius of Earth is not constant. Therefore, the numbers QE presented are not valid.
Sorry, his defense was that.
So,
go on, Chocolate.
Yeah. So I was just say, so we live on what, a bouncy ball? The radius just changed, it fluctuates.
It's the wobbly Earth. It's back after 3 years.
G plus, hello, G plus, hello, G plus. Calm down. Go ahead, Rebel.
Yeah, so negative exponent basically shockingly attempted to debunk Black Swan by saying, well, the Earth is, the radius of Earth, 3959 miles, is not the same everywhere. So the modus tollens therefore doesn't stand. And as QE pointed out that, well, give me the maximum radius, the math is still the same. But negative exponent, and this just shows that the degree to absurdity the Bolus will go to attempt to deny the reality.
He's saying the radius of the Earth changes. What radius?
Yeah, what radius? No, what he's saying is that it's varying. It's because it's an oblate spheroid or there's various topology, whatever. He's going to say that there's a slight variation in radius. Well, okay, in your presupposition that hasn't been measured, can't be measured, and only exists in maths, you're saying that there's a slight variant in that presupposition. That's fascinating. How are you going to measure it?
But forget measurement. I mean, even if you take the largest, which is 3963, I think, the math is still the same for the Black Swan.
Yeah, so if the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959, it makes no difference if you put it up to 3960 or even beyond that. It makes sod all difference. You're still going to end up with 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, giving you the geometric horizon distance. That won't change by varying it a slight amount on that 3959 value. You're absolutely right. And it certainly won't push the distance out to 10 miles, because that would give you a radius that's the equivalent of the orbital, begging the question, path of the moon when they presuppose it's falling around us.
Yeah, but NASA's got photographic evidence of this.
Where's that photographic evidence from again?
Well, the photographic evidence is the continents shrinking and looking bigger with different pictures of Earth from this place called space. So
so it gets a little chubby, then it loses a little weight. I see. That's what Neil smoked the grass meant when he said
that's what
I gotcha.
Like a balloon. I think he actually took a picture of a balloon. That explains it.
Hold on. Let's
because so they took a picture of the balloon when it was inflated, and then they took another picture of that balloon when it was deflated, and so that's why they got this different picture sizes.
Okay, I just want to address what Chocolate said though. Shout out to Ray Priestley. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Really appreciate it. He says thank you. Well, thank you. This idea that the different presentations from the different satellites in space has debunked the notion of these pictures stacking up. I've seen debunkings from the globe side where they've said no, based on the focal length and how it's done, and then I've seen them get little globes and do them with different cameras at the different distances to show how it all works. Who cares? It's just a smoke screen because all of the pictures are claimed to have been taken from space. A sky vacuum. But what they want on their side is for us to argue all day about how the pictures that we're presented as being a spherical Earth from space couldn't actually stack up because the continents are different sizes. And they go, no. If you change the focal length and distance, look, this at a scale version of it does exactly the same thing. Look, I can make this continent look bigger. Okay, but the pictures that are being compared to are claimed to be taken from space, and that stands in violation of natural law. Therefore, the pictures are bogus. No need to compare them in terms of the scale that you say it's representative with when you take a picture down here with a different focal length, because they did not take those pictures of the Earth from space, because space is fake. Can't have gas pressure without a container. We're breathing gas pressure, debunking the sky vacuum called space. So no pictures were taken of Earth from space.
But wouldn't, if you had a fluctuating radius, debunk the radius?
It debunks it having physicality to be measured, but they're only going to... Rebel's point is that even if you push it in the tiny frame that this guy is saying, oh, no, it's different at different places, therefore you can't take the modus tollens as true. It's like, no, when you base the mathematics, it's actually 1.22. I round it down based on what Andrew Thomas Young has stated is the most reasonable way of doing it. As a general rule, 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height will give you the distance to the geometric physical sphere edge, formerly known as Earth curve. That's why you're told as a kid that a 6-foot man's got a 3-mile observable horizon, because that's claimed to be your sphere edge. Well, that's just simple geometry, and if you change the radius value slightly, up or down, it's not going to change that mathematics, giving you a 3959 or 3960. It makes a sod all difference. But when you change it to what you have, if you assume the horizon is a physical sphere edge and you do the maths with the black swan, you end up with hundreds of thousands of miles for the radius. It's like a couple of 100,000 miles. Ludicrous. So it's not going to have this tiny little wiggle room because they say, oh, it's not a perfect sphere. Yeah, so what? Every single distance to horizon measurement still can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Putting the horizon in the black swan at 1.2 miles, given it's a 1-foot observer height. And it's where? 10 miles? Yeah, that's not within your wiggle room, mate. Just debunks the notion that it's a physical edge called Earth curve. It isn't.
Yeah, in terms of the application to the formula, the differential between the two radiuses doesn't even take effect in the number of decimal points you're using in the 1.22. So its insignificance as an excuse isn't there, because you can put whatever R value you vary it in. The variance is so small it doesn't impact till the 5th or 6th decimal point now. So
did you say to the 6th decimal? You'd have to go 4 orders of magnitude higher.
I can work it out, but it's 1.225 taking the big one. So that's why I always said use 1.225. Give them as much as they want. But if you see you're getting to your 3rd or 4th decimal point already, so the impact is negligible. And certainly, if you're looking at the Black Swan picture, you might push it from 1.2 miles to 1. Even if you pushed it to 1.3, that'd be more than it is. It's not going to impact on the significance of what we're saying, which is where the horizon is. It's not going to push it out to, like I said, if you do back calculate to the 10 miles, it's a 250,000 mile R value, not 13 miles more. And that's the polar equatorial difference.
Right. So just to summarise Rebel's point in this instance, so what Rebel's saying is he's saying there's going to be a difference in terms of the non-perfect nature of a presupposed sphere. However, when you're talking about 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height of feet, that still wouldn't account for that. You'd have to go up a couple more orders of magnitude in order for it to actually show the difference making any difference in the measurement. But it's not going to push it anywhere near what we're actually observing This tiny amount of wiggle room doesn't even factor in these general maths, which are rounded down to 1.2 anyway.
Even when you let them presuppose that 7/6 are standard refraction, don't they just get 1.3 anyway?
Hold on, Chocolate, sorry. Go ahead, Rebel.
Sorry, Chuck, I'm cutting through. I didn't hear you speaking. But what I was trying to point out is the despicable tactics that bolos are utilizing by claiming that they debunked something. And all they debunked, and I'm sure they understand that the difference is very negligible, but they stand on this point because it gives them the ability to say, well, in their mind, the black swan is debunked because the math is incorrect. The presumption that 3959 radius of the presupposed Earth is incorrect, right? They don't go further than that, and they just state
whose math is incorrect
right there. I'm sorry, what?
Whose math?
Their math.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they know it makes no difference, subtle difference to the math, right? To the distance to the edge. And it's just this is how despicable the tactics are. Is to claim that they debunked something because there's a fraction difference in the presupposed radius at different points of the presupposed sphere. You know, it's just it's ridiculous.
It's pathetic.
They can have fun saying whatever it is they want, but since this argument has been out, all they've been telling us is about their refracted horizon, their apparent horizon, right? They're telling us themselves we've never seen the geometric horizon, even though it's defined as something that you should see. So how the hell did they ever measure it?
Exactly.
No, listen. What I'm saying is they've lost so badly that the only thing they can utilize in their defense is arguing about the math being incorrect to the nth degree of a fraction. You see how badly they've lost the argument.
Oh, absolutely.
They have nothing else. They have nothing else but to argue about fractions and say, "Well, you can't be right. 3959 is not exact radius," and then there's no need to press further. That's just it can be ended right there. I mean, can you provide any better argument? Because this is just as QA says, a non sequitur.
Yeah, the rebuttals are absolutely pathetic. I would describe it as clutching at straws. I'm going to shout out James Richard, who smashed the super chat and says, "Globies, why don't you pay someone to tell you the world you're in, since you're incapable of figuring it out yourself? Hey, pay me. I'll tell you. I'll even put 3 letters behind your name and hold a ceremony when completed." Well, there you go. Fair enough. If you're pimping around here for business, James Richard, then more power to you. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Yeah. But yeah, all their arguments are broken. So now they just throw it back into the cauldron and make
broken.
word soup.
Literally broken. Whenever they say refraction. Does that mean again?
Yeah, broken back. Like deviated from straight, i.e. not a tangent line. Not capable of being utilized for geometry then?
Yep, and that's their response.
Bye-bye globe geometry. Refracted, broken, deviated from straight, not straight, bent. Oh, well, this isn't geometric. You need a tangent line for that. You need a physical sphere edge for that. You need Earth curve to be a physical location to block boats and buildings. And if it isn't that, it isn't that. It's not Earth curve.
Oh, no, Nathan. The horizon we see is apparent, Nathan.
All horizons are apparent. So if you're going to claim that the horizon being measured is a physical geometric sphere edge formerly known as Earth curve, then that would be apparent based on height, if it was a visible horizon. However, we're being told by disclaimer and rebuttal that we do not see a geometric horizon, that's Earth curve. That we wouldn't expect to see a geometric horizon, that's Earth curve. That the geometric horizon only exists in Earth curve maths. Because the geometric horizon's Earth curve and we don't see it. So we don't see Earth curve. It just exists in maths when you reify the horizon into a physical location, which it's not.
You hear that, Rebel? That's why this argument is so bad for them, because their response to it is literally, we don't see the Earth curve.
Oh yeah, I've debated Black Swan with Glovers. It's remarkable the degree of cognitive dissonance they go to. Like, it's just unbelievable. They literally turn reality 180 and proclaim their whatever they need to proclaim to just keep it coherent in their brain, in their mind, in the consciousness that they live on a spinning ball.
Technically, it's not 180; it's 90. It's turning the world side on in Muppet vision.
Boom, boom.
And when you're not talking to these fundies, it's a little different, right? Because I tell people about this at my job, and there's a dude I told, and after I explained the argument to him, he understood, and he said, well, I heard something about this. What's their response, like a refraction or something like that? And we went into that a little bit, and he was like, so what, you telling me that the light's just bending and bringing that horizon? That doesn't make any sense. He's like, that's the silliest thing I've ever heard. And that would it be possible because you only have a certain limitation of what you could see. You're not going to see something that's 10 times further than where it should be now placed right in front of you. Like, how does that work?
Correct, and the explanation requires 3 levels of begging the question. The web of lies gets too big at that point. So the justification that you're going to presuppose Earth's a sphere with a radius value, and then you're going to bend light around the presupposed radius at the rate of the presupposed radius with 7/6r, that's terrestrial refraction. And then when that doesn't work with the geometry, move the horizon with the refracted value. So once you're the third layer into that bullshit, most people just glaze over. They can't accept that level of bullshit.
Yeah, I call it going into weeds. Like, as soon as somebody's mentions to me refraction, or that we can see further because of light bends, I stop right there and say, then you can never measure the radius. Period.
Exactly.
End of story.
Exactly. That's the end. Exactly. Precisely well put, Rebel. As soon as you're at the point that the horizon is refracted, it is ipso facto no longer geometric, and the Earth curve assertion is based on geometry. It's the end of the globe. It's the end of the heliocentric model. Everything hangs on R, and we've debunked it. With that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Massive thank you to all of you who liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and smashed the super chat. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on a premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Got a cum virus in the chat saying, "Oh, poor dead swan, it didn't have a chance." It's like, no, you're delusional. You're sticking your head in the sand and saying,
Nathan,
"Oh, it's dead."
Actually, Adam didn't have a
dumb
chance.
virus.
I'd gone quiet there because I was doing the maths for you.
How many
so
more?
it's in the show now anyway, but I worked out the differentials on the 1.2. So if you take 3959, it gives you 1.22459. If you take the biggest radius, because that's what they want, 3963, it gives you 1.225219. So if you go to 3 decimal places, it's exactly the same. You've got to go to 4 decimal places for it to be a differential, and as you can see, that's what, 0.0001 of a mile difference is the biggest excuse you've got there.
It's pathetic. Yeah, Rebel, you're spot on. It's absolutely pathetic. It's never quoted either. You've had to. It's only I was going to say only one order of magnitude, but based on 1.225, and they say typically all measurements will give you the same exact outcome at 1.2. It's perfectly acceptable to round down, but no one's giving it a 1.225. What did you say? 7?
Yeah. Well, so you've got to go. So if you go to 3. The third decimal at 3959, you round up anyway because they're following 1 to 5, so it goes to 1.225. So on 3963 at 3 decimal points, it's still 1.225. So you've got to go to the 4th decimal place to give you 1.2245, or sorry, 46, and the other one will be 1.2252. So 46, so it's 0.0006 difference of a mile.
Okay. But yet, in terms of the difference between the claim to be physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, based on 3959, or any of these pathetic little weaselly manipulations of a decimal place, the difference between that and the Black Swan isn't just like 1 decimal place. It's 250,000 miles versus 3,000. 39.
So the
4,
excuse they were using, if you look at it, they were saying, "Oh, it's 1.225." Right. The actual difference, giving them their maximum leniency, is they could say that it's a further 3.16 foot away.
So instead of being 1.2, so instead of the geometric horizon in the Black Swan being at 1.2 miles, it's a further few feet.
Yeah, 3.168 foot.
Ugh, it's absolutely pathetic. It's not even in the frame of the picture. Bearing in mind that this difference isn't even in the frame of the picture.
Nathan, they know this. They know that the difference is negligible. The point they're making, and that's why I'm outraged. The point they're making is because Black Swan does not have precise measurement of radius, which you can never obtain, right? Therefore, it's invalid. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're clutching at straws.
It's like saying law of gravity in their mind, therefore would be invalid because you can never precisely measure to like the nth point of the decimal points. The acceleration, so-called acceleration, right? 9 meters per second squared. You can never measure it to like whatever the decimal point that they require. Therefore, to their mind, then the law of gravitation is invalid. They can
say whatever they want.
Yeah, they're just making it up to ease their own cognitive pain when we debunk the notion of having a physical sphere edge. But it's so beautiful with the Black Swan because their rebuttal is their concession, all wrapped up in one big fat package. So what's that you say? It's refracted. Bye-bye globe model.
Bye-bye globe. Hello.
One of the, I think, for me, the highlight for that debate between QE and negative exponent was not even that. Is how, given the degree of ludicrousy of the arguments coming from the other side, QE, for the first time I heard him so calm, cordial, collected, on point. It was absolutely marvelous. You guys should listen to that. How QE
because the other guy was that. He might have went into his little Zeltry after a few, but I heard that one. And he was actually very cordial. He didn't, it wasn't a rumpus debate. You know what I mean? There's a big difference. You get what you give, man. If you come into a debate acting like a fool, then you just might get that type of behavior. But if you act, a certain way,
but that's what they want.
Possible race, you could act very freaking cordial.
They don't have any credibility to lose. So if they can induce the type of behaviour that they're exhibiting from us, then that's a net win for them. Because they don't give a shit about their credibility. Same thing with lying. If they can lie through their back teeth. If they get caught out, what difference does it make to them? They're not the ones perpetrating the idea of being on a sphere. They're just here to discredit us. The people who are perpetrating the ideas are the Neil deGrasse Tysons, who they often disagree with anyway. So they don't need to cover that base. All they're here to do is to have us behave like them, so that we look bad, because we are the equivalent of Neil deGrasse Tyson when we're propagating our ideas of how the nature of reality isn't what they're telling you it is. So we are worthy of discrediting, and if they can entice the same behaviour that they're exhibiting, it's not going to have an even standard applied to them as is applied to us. When it's very important how our credibility is perceived, for them, it's totally meaningless. They're a faceless troll, in most instances.
Yep, and I think their biggest problem is people keep talking about this. These shows keep going on, the flat earth just keeps getting bigger. Even Phil Bell this morning, he kept, instead of answering direct questions that he was asked, he kept going to, oh, well, what is the purpose of this flat earth thing? What do you guys hope to achieve, and all of this nonsense? And it's like, bro, why are you here? Is it because you're nervous about what's going on? Because if you're a supposed professor that puts satellites in space, why are you in the debate server? Right? Why are you in the flat earth debate server saying how flat earth is so stupid? But here you are acting very nervous because you know if this comes to light, it's a wrap for you. And he acts like that. It's pathetic. He's really pathetic as far as I'm concerned for somebody who calls himself a professor who's supposed to be teaching people, and just it's really bad.
Chocolate, do you remember yesterday you brought up Dr. Michelle Thaler?
I never called her a doctor. Is she a doctor?
Yeah, well, she's got a PhD. So
I won't call her a doctor.
It's just a way of addressing him. It's no big deal.
Like
All
Dr.
right, so
Becky?
yeah, just like Dr. Becky. Yeah. All right. So I went and watched that video. I'd seen it before, but I'm glad you posted it. So I watched it. You know, when he was talking about the boats disappearing bottom up, she said it was due to Earth curve, right?
Yep.
She never brought up refraction. Now, what's interesting is that in the trenches, the ballers here, that's their escape clause. But as Nathan pointed out a couple of shows ago, that all that means is I can't see Earth curve.
Yeah, I know. Remember when I said yesterday, we should sit those guys down with the current numpties that we debate with, because they have problems. They don't even agree in their own narrative. Because that lady and Bill Nye and all these guys, they'll assert, oh, it's of course it's physical. That's why the boats were disappearing, right?
Right.
But look what we're listening to from these guys, right? So they should have a debate against each other. Work that shit out. Because apparently Michelle Thaler and Bill Nye and Smoke the Grass Tyson all think you see the geometric horizon.
As I say, that's not consequential to them. Their ability to lie, deceive, go against the narrative that's their own is inconsequential because they're not perpetrating the actual information out to the masses. They're just here to discredit us.
Yep. And he puts his nice little claws right into effect, like, oh, and I won't debate because I have the objective truth on my side.
Yeah, and I've got weasels out in the trenches debating people and destroying their credibility when they assert anything that's not in line with what I say. So they've got, it's well covered.
But that's just pure projection. That's just pure projection on his part.
Yeah, I won't debate because it might be the case that tactics will be used against me. Oh, no. In the debate and discussion, we have the objective truth. We have natural law and scientific validity. You have none of the above, but all of your claims of the above make every claim you've made pseudoscience, and we would point that out. What would happen, or what does happen, in the trenches, here in the actual debate, is the Globers use tactics, and ad hominem and fallacy, and attack us personally, and go after our credibility. That's tactics. We, on the other hand, use scientific validity, or demolish the claim of scientific validity when none is being offered.
We can do the same for ballers and go after the credibility. You can easily go after the credibility of Smoke the Grass Tyson. It's out there.
But why? I want to go after their arguments. I don't care about Neil deGrasse Tyson as an individual.
No, I know. I'm saying anyone can do that. Anyone can do that. To go after the person, basically going ad hominem rather than attacking the argument, addressing the argument.
Yeah, that's their go-to with us. So that anybody surrounding or on the periphery of the argument realises that if you sit on our side of the argument, the flat earth side, you're going to be subject to horrendous ridicule. So that's definitely the sort of first go-to. The idea that this is ridicule-worthy and tolerable in societal terms. That's their go-to.
So much so that they tell you it's not even okay to think about.
Yeah, right, Chocolate. You'll get accused of wrong think if you even consider it.
Yep.
That's right. Same goes for asking for one's accreditations. I consider that not addressing argument.
Yeah, sticking your head in the sand. That was a load of word salad. Moving on to my point, which is irrelevant.
So right, the people with accreditations, for the most part, will not address the issue, and that means for the people with accreditations, this is not an issue at all. It's not a part of the discussion of the world. So if anybody pipes up about this nature of reality, the first thing they look at is, well, does it have? Is that person part of my circle? No, okay, then it's not an argument. I don't want to listen to them.
So falling back on appeals to authority, then, is what you're saying, or consensus.
That's right. Yes, consensus reality.
I could just be speculating, but I'm wondering if they used, I can never remember her name, the wakey exoplanet astrophysicist.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember either.
Right. But I'm wondering if they kind of used her, like in the background, as kind of a poster child of, this is what you don't want to do. Right? Don't get caught talking to a flat earther without actually vetting them or knowing what their credentials are, or just don't talk to anybody because you can get set up just like this lady did.
No,
who got
nobody
very
knew
upset
what the hell she
at
was
the end
doing.
when she was asked questions that she could not respond to, which she couldn't respond to questions the entire time, which is to me hilarious because you're an expert in exoplanets, planets that are not even in the solar system, but simple questions about the one we're supposed to live on you can't respond to.
Well, the argument about accreditation and diplomas and degrees and titles before and after your name, all that's well and good if the information could be vetted out and proven to be true. So, if you go to some kind of university that has more of a liberal point of view, you're going to be teaching Marxism and socialism and all this stuff and hate America, like we've seen in our universities here in the States, where the professors boldly come out and say they hate this country. So now you raise your kids, you send them there, and then they come out thinking the same way. Yeah, but my professor, he's got a PhD, and you're just my mom and dad. But the information is the important part, not the certificate. If the information is bad, the information's bad, and that's all we're pointing out. We're challenging the information.
Yeah, to the point where that lady was made, he got her to say, I'm not sure, maybe 2-3 times, that the model was wrong.
Yeah, she did.
Like,
well, she had nothing else to say because it was right there. It was obvious.
Yeah, exactly.
But the amazing
like
thing,
that
though,
doesn't.
when she
As you're
said
saying that doesn't click something in your head. Like as you're saying, the very model which you've built your career on, lady, is wrong. you
yes,
didn't catch that when
exactly.
you said
She's
it.
saying that, not even realizing what she's saying.
Exactly. Like, come on. This is joke level, man.
Well, if there was one thing you can get wrong that would destroy every facet of your model, it's the radius of the Earth.
have been funny if he brought the black swan up to her. But yeah, she destroyed herself. Lovely.
No, she was. All she would say, well, at best, you disproved the radius.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't worry.
Ask her if she heard the track.
Oh my god.
What's the track?
Yeah, what's the track?
I laid down the track.
Oh, really? Have you published it already?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
You didn't?
No.
No.
Published. You didn't put it on your channel though. You just put it in Skype or something, right?
I put it in Skype. But...
Well, don't hold on to it. Let us hear it.
Nah, he might get copyright strike.
Did it cover?
I'll give it to you. You can listen to it after the show.
Okay.
What about Adam? Adam, you hear him? Did you hear the track?
Okay. The track until Adam works on my track.
That's
the track.
Chocolate, are you Adam?
Only on Mondays.
Yeah.
So, Adam, do you hear the track?
No,
What the hell? I sent it to you personally.
Where?
In your Skype.
Oh yeah, baby. Underneath. Hey, audio.
Yeah.
Not click this.
Yeah, people are not looking on.
Well, I wasn't peeping, was I?
You're gonna be on the list. Nah, don't do it.
You're sending that. I'm going. I'm off to listen.
All right, Nathan, hold on. Don't play it though, because you get copyright strike.
Okay, let's talk about it for 10 more minutes and not play it.
Yes.
It's cool that QU is here because I talked to Ed yesterday and he said you could present proof of a concave Earth to try to debunk the black swan. Just say that curvature is lifting up over and around your head, and he got triggered by that. So it was kind of fun.
You talk about Ed Freeze?
No, Ed, educationally deficient, the guy who did a mockery of your Q and P yesterday in Discord.
Oh, I thought it was the Ed Freeze. Yeah, that's Ed Freeze, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this. Okay. Yeah.
I drug him around for like an hour, man. It was classic. I even called it. And guess who backed me up? Zanuck.
Yeah, I know. It was the best thing ever. I was like, Zanuck was on his meds that day.
Too funny.
Should have been in arena this morning, John. Guess
what happened?
Your friend came back in. Professor Phil.
Oh,
I mean, just Phil.
Just Phil, Mister. I challenged him last night. I said I waited almost 12 hours for this monkey. He finally comes in, and I challenged him to a one-on-one debate against his science acumen. What'd he do? Declined.
Well, he got his ass handed to him this morning by Witsit.
Did he?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I was gonna hit you up, but I figured this guy is probably asleep.
Yeah, he comes in real early in the morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning, like I'm gonna be there. Yeah, right. So Witsit was there. Cool.
Yeah, I walked in there. I was like, oh shit, look at this guy. We didn't answer any questions directly. Himawari is the proof that we live on a freaking magical spinning wet rock. I mean, I don't know. Now, the whack part is that Miggy wasn't live with it, but I think Breaking Down recorded it. So we should have a recording of that.
You gonna send it to me?
Well, I don't have it yet. I mean, when I came in here, he was still over there. He might still be in there now.
He still is. He still is in there.
Hey, Nathan, I put it in Ball Busters for you, man.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. He's still in there.
Sounds like QE needs to pay a visit.
Pay a visit to what?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I asked him if he would come over here when I was coming. I was just like, hey, stop by Nathan Oakley, flat earth debate one day. He declined. I was just like, well, I have to put it out there, buddy.
Yeah, the rules are, Tent. If you decline, then you decline. That's it.
Got it. Hey, did you hear about that lawsuit against NASA by the atheist group? It was brought up today.
It's new to us too.
Yeah. The Madeline Marie O'Hare, you know, the group, she led the atheist group here in the States for many years. She sued or wanted to take NASA to court about reading scripture from Apollo 8, I believe.
Really?
And then NASA in court said, well, we actually read it from Earth.
Yeah, I posted that. It's actually one of my talking points I love to go to.
Yeah, I gotta get
the counterclaim.
That's a nice one.
Why don't you make a little presentation out of that? You know, a couple-minute presentation with that, you know, and then present that.
Yeah, sure. I would. That'd be great. I kind of thought about that in the past, like doing presentations, like like you do. You know, it's really cool how you were able to do that.
Chris, to be honest, man, you because you're a little bit older, you've been around, you were around for a lot of that shit. You should put a presentation together, man. All the your experience of a lot of that nonsense back in the day. I think that would be good, man.
Yeah, it was really interesting because I was just young enough where I could watch it without partaking. You know, because I mean the draft ended like right when I turned 18 or just right before that. So I was kind of like nervous about it, or people would talk about it. I saw kids just older than me getting drafted and seeing all the stuff Nixon was up to. But I didn't really it was kind of like being a kid with a room full of adults, and you see them arguing, and you see them talking and yelling and getting all upset, and I'm over here just playing with toys and just like a fly on the wall. And I really didn't process that stuff until much older. When I was really older, like I didn't really connect the dots that I'm sorry taking too much time to rambling on.
Nah, man, you're good.
Yeah, me and Jen talk about this all the time too, about how it almost seems like that age of innocence, and being in such a time that was so corrupt, it was so dark, it was so crooked, but being a kid and being innocent while in that environment, it actually is kind of like a cog diss in and of itself, because a lot of people from that time like to remember the innocent, like running down to the creek and fishing and doing that stuff. At the same time, it was like almost global destruction due to weapons of mass destruction pointed at each other. Oh, and then Nixon called them, and the atheists suing Apollo program and whatnot. But yeah, I could definitely do a presentation because I've got quotations from Tyson. Tyson did a whole blog about how atheists need to shut up about Apollo 8.
Really?
So what's the problem? Apollo 8, they said the scripture from Apollo 8, and then officially they said no, we did it from Earth. Is that it?
Yeah, but generally what happened was the atheists of America sued NASA, sued the government.
Together into one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so. And God called the dry land Earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. God saw that it was good.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes. So officially, there's a court case, and then what did NASA say? That it didn't come from Apollo 8; it came from terra firma.
Well, yeah. Generally, what happened was the atheists sued. They said you can't do that. That's a violation of the separations clause. So then NASA said, "Well, no, it's not, because people have human rights in space. So they're supposed to present evidence that they were in space, and they just balked and said, no, it was actually on Earth. Therefore, they could read from the Bible whenever they wanted." And that's how the court case was dismissed.
And you got the official.
I I posted it in Master B a little while ago, so it should be in there. What he posted.
Also in Ballbusters.
Yep.
So generally, what happened? The argument that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Someone else talking.
No, we're listening to you. Go ahead, Grit.
Okay, so generally what the argument was from the atheists is that the government just was corrupt and they manipulated the court system so they could win a legal argument, not a science argument. And they were pissed. And I'm like, well, sure, that could be a case, but at that point now, you could say the government won, but Apollo still lost. Because Apollo, the goal was to challenge the Apollo program. The goal wasn't to challenge the government.
No. Are you saying that that NASA's official statement was that it wasn't from Apollo 8, it was from terra firma? That's the compelling factor in the matter. I don't give a shit about the rest of the nonsense.
That's correct.
It's all. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not. It turned into a legalese mumbo jumbo court case that determined what the definition of is. It was just a shit show. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a crapshoot. So it turned out to be just a bunch of craziness that no one really knew, and the judge just dismissed the case. Is what happened.
But, and I'll say this again, the compelling factor in the matter: did NASA say that the scripture was read on Earth?
No, I don't think they failed to prove or failed to present a case for that it was in space.
You guys got me fucking lost, man. You guys,
He's
I tell
saying-
you what,
It was about-
you guys, you live around power lines.
Listen, I'll
Yes.
summarize
Okay.
what
Listen.
Huey's saying.
It was a court case that had to do with discovery. Okay, it had to do with This is why court cases are really why there's a profession called a lawyer, because they're able to wordsmith constantly keep updating what words mean.
I already know that. Get to the point.
Here,
The
let me
point is
summarize
that's
it
what
for a
happened
minute so
in
you
this
can
court
answer what
case.
I think is QE's question. The NASA, for the audience, made it look like the astronauts going around the moon actually said it from that location in space. Then when the atheists sued them, it came to a point where NASA had to prove where it came from. They balked that it came from space and that it was done on Earth. And QE's asking, is that something NASA said, and is it legitimate, and could it be proven?
Answered.
Could what be? Oh, just that they said it.
That's what I'm saying, that statement could be proven, that they said that statement.
No, they didn't say that statement. They failed to present evidence to prove they were in space. So a failure to present evidence isn't them declaring it happened on Earth, it's them failing to prove that it happened where they said it happened.
Who said that?
Chris, just
Who
now.
said they failed to provide evidence that they were in space?
Yeah, I think it was the judge who dismissed the case.
The judge said that. Is that in his writing?
No, I think when they just say the case is dismissed, that without a writing to it. That's why the atheists were angry, that they thought that the government manipulated events in such a manner to make it seem like it was crooked, like the fix was in.
Oh my God!
Well, it's in Ballbusters. You'll have to have a glance over it.
Yeah, if I'm not doing it justice, because I'm probably not the I don't have a legal degree. I've got a quasi-legal degree. So maybe if you talk to a lawyer,
somebody with a legal degree, I need somebody to summarize the fucking thing in 5 sentences in the point. For fuck's sake!
Okay, let me look into it. I'll report back.
If not, then why even post it? What is the point? Bottom line, right here, in 2 sentences. Not, you need a legal degree. And they wordsmith, and the lawyers, their favorite color was chartreuse. No. Give me a break.
Relax, go get some chocolate milk, man.
check out the track, man.
Go right back to the damn track.
What was it you were saying about QE being all calm and collected, more calm than you've ever seen in Rebel? What was it you were saying?
No, this is good because it lets people realize how to deal with QE.
Or was that somewhere else?
Hold on, just 1 second. Just 1 second. Say that again, Crit.
Yeah, this is really good because like globalists will then run away as soon as QE raises his voice, and they'll take their ball and go home instead of just keep trying to present an argument. I mean, it's not that hard. I can still speak to QE. I've actually rephrased my. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna be a joke. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I made a joke about taking their ball and going home.
Mine was going to be about telling QE to go fuck himself, but I didn't get it in the right timing.
Oh, okay. So, hey, Q, I think I can make the argument in 2 sentences.
Sorry. Could you say that again?
It's all right. We were saying.
So go fuck yourself.
Just summarise, just so it doesn't get dragged out. Let me just summarise so it doesn't get dragged out. So, you were getting complimented earlier on in the show about the premiere that you released, your debate that you had, that was very cordial. And Chocolate added that it's more about the give and take on both sides. If you're reasonable in discussion, you're going to have a reasonable discussion, right? If you rumpus the crap out of your opponent, you're going to end up with a shit show. And you were getting lots of compliments about it. But then, you know, it's early in the morning, you haven't had chocolate milk, and you're like, get to the point!
Yeah. Thank you.
All good. We're all friends here. You can all go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, obviously.
That's as far as you know.
I don't know. QE's on my list now.
Why would that be?
What list is that?
I don't know. He's always got a freaking list, so I'm starting a list now.
Regardless, this is definitely interesting, Crit. You know, it's definitely something I'm going to be reading up on once this is finished, because I'm fascinated by it. There's got to be something juicy in there. There's got to be.
Yeah, there's lots of juicy tidbits. That's the best part. It's like saying, like I read the Bible from, say, my roof, and someone said, well, you're not supposed to read the Bible from your roof, and that's a violation of local ordinance. Then you go to the courtroom and you say, yep, you tell the judge, I read the Bible from my roof. The other side said, yep, he read the Bible from his roof. Then they say, were you on your roof? And I say, prove I was on my roof. And the guy's like, well, you said you were, right? And he's like, yeah. So can you show all this documentation showing that you were on your roof and you did all this and why you did it? No. Case dismissed. It's kind of like, it was like, what? How is a case dismissed? That should be an admission of defeat. That should be like, if you don't follow discovery and if you don't present discovery, that other side can assume anything they want about what is inside the discovery. And that's not what happened because the defendant was the government, so they put the fix in and just said no jurisdiction of the court in space. Sorry, is that more clear? I guess basically the court said they don't have jurisdiction in space. That was like the nitty gritty of it because space is not real, or maybe
that sounds about
space
right.
Is Narnia. Yeah,
the court of the earth. You know,
because it's
the
not
court
real,
admitted,
or did you just add that on your own?
Right.
No, I'm trying to paraphrase it. Hey, Ed, if you were listening to the whole conversation, you would be on track. So listen until you get caught up. So basically, the court said they have no jurisdiction in Narnia.
The whole thing you make up. None of it.
Oh no!
We got Beavis and Butthead together.
Beavis and Butthead.
Come on, Kiwi, you know
let's
it.
talk about making up the radius now.
No. Gradient.
No, look, Kiwi asked him for a proof. He didn't provide one.
What? What the fuck are you talking about, you retard?
Yeah.
Well, this descended fast.
Stop that, Hom. Let him speak. When he speaks is when he actually sounds the dumbest.
You stupid idiot.
Man, 5 words out of a few globers, and we've descended into grunting animals making noises. Great.
It's what they do.
No, it's all from the panel.
Oh.
Go ahead, Chaiki, enlighten us with all the intellectual honesty that you're going to give us today.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Give us all your considerations. All of them.
Not the geometric ones, because you don't have those, but yeah.
Is the horizon apparently geometric?
All horizons that are visible and actually exist as horizons are apparent.
Yeah, so...
Wait. There are horizons that don't exist as horizons?
Yeah.
Is that so?
Mathematical horizons that aren't really horizons. They only exist in maths, therefore aren't actually horizons. Just more like a reification of a mathematical horizon that doesn't exist in reality.
Wait.
You can't see it. It's not a horizon.
Actually obscure your vision from a boat?
Not actual, not physical, only existing in maths. Can it? Not something, no, it can't.
Hey, Chaiki, how come Dr. Michelle Thaler says that the reason for boats disappearing bottom up is due to physical Earth curve, and you guys don't agree with her?
Can you speak us down, QE?
Who is she?
Not kicking back, man.
What do you mean, who is she?
Or chocolate?
Chaiki, do you have a point, or are you just here to waste everybody's time and muddy the water?
Well, Bill Nye says the same thing.
I think man's question is pretty good.
You're referencing him. He's trying to respond. Go ahead, Chaiki.
Hey, Nathan, just quickly, that wasn't me, man. I didn't trip it.
I think it was chocolate. Now we're rumpusing him. Let's try a third time. Go ahead, Chaiki.
Said she lied. Why you believe her?
You say that the Dr. Michelle Thaler, who was on the same video with Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye, is lying? Are they all lying too, since they are on the same video? Have you even seen the video, Chaiki?
Do I need to see it?
Well, you're
Is she
assuming
lying or
that
not?
she's lying.
Is she lying or not?
You're the one accusing her of
lying. Is the
lying.
horizon a physical location or not? You're a geometric
I'll say she's
horizon,
lying.
of course.
No, it's not. It's not.
The horizon is very physical.
Because that's what they're saying.
If someone's telling you not to think and they're from the government, start thinking, okay, right now. Okay, if she says it's not okay to think, your next action should be thinking.
Did she say it?
Are you sure?
Yeah, she said it's not okay to think.
Sure? This is quite a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No, you said she told you not to think.
That's right. She's telling you
Yeah,
how
she
to
said
think and what
it's
not to
not-
think about.
Oh,
That's
I'm
right,
sorry,
Chaiki.
Nathan.
That's right. She's telling you what not to think about. How to think. Policing your thoughts. You're cool with that, though, yeah?
I never heard it.
And yet you call her a liar.
Just said you didn't need to watch it. Now you're saying you haven't heard it. So is this like, I don't need to watch the video, you've detailed it to me, but now we're actually asking you about it specifically, you haven't heard it. So you're useless to this conversation then. You'll choose to ignore it when the point's made because you haven't seen it, or point out that you don't need to see it because you've heard the point being made. So you just have your cake and eat it regardless, you're going to ignore these points, right, Chaiki? You're useless.
Ask Chocolate, he asked me the question. I didn't bring it up.
Who cares?
Yes.
Are you on your meds again?
Yeah, you're useless.
It's that bad, Chaiki. We can't even have it. The only conversation we could have with you is how's the weather, and even then, it's questionable.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, no, that doesn't help either. He just bogs things down. He's like a swamp monster. And time comes by, things slow down, and it's like,
Well, let me give him a multiple choice option here.
Oh,
okay?
thanks a lot. That's going to help out.
Well,
yeah, that's not
give him a chance.
convoluted at all.
Can you give him a chance? Go ahead,
hang
Paul.
on. Let's give it a try and see what happens. Chaiki, if this NASA representative said that boats go over the curve, okay, and that's why they disappear from bottom up, is she lying, not telling the truth, or is she deceived?
She's describing reality.
No, she's not. We don't see a geometric horizon. A physical sphere edge is not what our horizon is. We do not see it. We wouldn't expect to see it. It only exists in the maths. She is factually incorrect. The geometric physical sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, has been debunked. Your own side tells us how we don't see the geometric horizon. Now, she's telling us something contrary to that, and you're saying she is describing physical reality? No, she isn't.
Did you measure all horizon you saw? And you know all of them were not the geometric horizon, which does not exist, please?
Yeah, we did.
Ask his question.
Black Swan, not your globe. That's right.
Yeah,
yes, we did.
it.
The oil platforms gives us an idea where the horizon is.
That's one, Kiwi. That's one.
Yeah. Did you not hear what I just said to you, Chaiki? So
All
your
you
own
need is
side.
one.
So, Chaiki, let's give you a few quotes. Yeah? We would not expect to see the geometric horizon. Or, the geometric horizon only exists in maths. Or, we do not see the geometric horizon. That's Earth curve, a tangent point blocking boats and buildings as depicted on screen for the audience now. This point, labelled with the word horizon and marked with an X, is a geometric tangent point that is claimed to block things in the distance. Now, your own side tells us that this very horizon is not visible, cannot be seen, we wouldn't expect to see it, and only exists in the maths I'm showing on screen. So given that she's saying we do see it, who's wrong, Chaiki? Is she wrong, given that we've shown her to be wrong with the Black Swan? Or is she just deceived? Or a liar?
Like I said, the horizon do not have to be the geometric horizon, which I still don't know.
So you're saying the horizon doesn't have to be a geometric horizon? Yeah, to do geometry it does.
That's still not an answer from the multiple choice that was given to you. You keep on answering otherwise. So.
Yeah. Is she a liar or just deceived?
Is she a liar?
Well, she's saying that we can see a physical geometric sphere edge horizon formerly known as Earth curve. Yet we've had a whole list of quotes I just gave you about how we don't see it. We can't see it. We wouldn't expect to see it. And it only exists in the maths. And now you're talking through me.
Those quotes.
Hey, you're talking through me. You're talking through me so you don't have to listen to these quotes. We've got what's called a violation, Chaiki, of the law of non-contradiction. She's saying one thing, the horizon's physical. We've demonstrated unequivocally otherwise. It's not physical. Now, as a result of our demonstration, Chaiki, I'm still talking. Last chance. As a result of our demonstration, yeah, you're going to talk through me every time to piss me off, aren't you? Yeah? As a result of our demonstration, it's called the Black Swan, we are told by the people who rebut that argument that we don't see a geometric horizon, the one that she's saying we do see. So she's wrong, we've demonstrated her wrong with the Black Swan, and now we're asking, given that she is unequivocally, without doubt, beyond certitude, incorrect, is she just deceived or an outright liar? Which one, Chaiki?
I don't know. Maybe you don't understand English. First you say, she says the horizon is physical. Then she says, we don't expect to see the geometric horizon.
No, that's not what she says. It's because you talk through me. You didn't listen. It's nothing to do with my English or your understanding. It's your ability to listen and not talk when I'm explaining it to you. And like now, you're talking when I'm talking. Like now. So you'll later claim that it's a comprehension problem? Yeah, no, it's not. It's a listening problem. Your listening problem. Your comprehension problem. You are a retard. and you have an inability to comprehend by way of listening. When I talk, you talk. Therefore, you miss parts of what I'm saying. Like now, you're talking.
Get on with the point then.
Who's talking? Sorry, are you giving me an order, educationally deficient? I will. I'll get on with the point, yeah. You'll shut up in the meantime. You won't give me an order. I'll give the orders around here, educationally deficient. Make that absolutely known to everybody on the panel. I'm the one giving the orders, not you. If you don't like that, bye-bye. You understand that and accept that, educationally deficient? I'm making the rules here.
I like that new name, though.
I need you to acknowledge that you understand that I'm in charge.
You make the
Oh wow,
rules.
did I hit a
You don't
nerf
give
that bad?
orders.
Jikey, shut up. Educationally deficient. Just looking for an acknowledgement.
That would be you, Ed.
It's funny when they mute themselves. I love it because that way they can't cry about being muted if they do it to themselves, and that's good.
Try it sometimes.
So, I'll get to my point. There's a contradiction. Yeah? A violation of the law of non-contradiction in the form of her claim that we have a physical horizon blocking boats and buildings. That would be geometric in nature, as asserted by the geometry used to claim Earth's...
No, stop.
So you're talking through me again. You're talking through me again, Chikey. Yeah. Educationally deficient told me to get to my point. I've tried to make the same point about 6 times with you talking through me. And then when I get to the end of the point, you missing half of it because you've talked through it. And then claiming that there's some sort of breakdown in communication that you're causing because you are retarded and incapable of comprehension. Just thick. You talk when you should listen. That makes you stupid. That's a demonstration of stupidity.
I heard you.
And again, you're talking. Yeah, I know you don't like being told off, Chikey.
Why not?
Chikey, telling you off for your ignorance and stupidity, your failure to comprehend by not listening. Yep. Now, I realise that to you, that's just another opportunity to talk through me like you're doing now. Another opportunity to not accept that you are retarded and have a lack of comprehension ability. That no matter, even when I'm pointing out that lack of comprehension ability, you will demonstrate it by talking through me continually, making my point clear. You are retarded. That is a being held back, mentally held back. That's what retarded means. You are mentally held back. You have a poor ability to comprehend. You keep talking when you should listen. So we have a violation of the law of non-contradiction. A claim of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, capable of blocking things, which has been debunked by the Black Swan. Based on that debunking, and he's talking again.
No one say that.
Sorry, why are you talking?
No one but you, sorry.
Sorry, it's the basis of the religion. So his interruption was to say nobody asserts that we have physical Earth curve geometry. And now he's talking through me, addressing his interruption. So that's the last chance that Chikey's going to get to talk to here today. Because every single time I very calmly and politely explained that I'm trying to get to my point, I'm not giving the opportunity. Not once have I been allowed to concisely get my point across and have a rebuttal to it. And in the middle of this attempt, he's told me, nobody asserts we have physical Earth curve geometry. Yet it's the basis of the religion and the opposing side to this argument. That's the tenets of their religion that's being debated here. Yet his rebuttal, while I'm making my point, is to say nobody claims that. Now, these people that we debate, that's all they have. It's absolutely pathetic. Constant interruptions, constant sidetracking of the actual point being made. That's that we have, and I haven't made this point once because of Chikey. I've now removed him, so I will get to make the point at least once without interruption. I won't get a response because I've had to physically remove him from the conversation to make the point even once. Violation of the law of non-contradiction. You cannot be both physical geometric capable of blocking things and non-physical, non-geometric refracted. That violates the law of non-contradiction. Now, that violation, which has been demonstrated by the Black Swan, is being contradicted by this woman, who says it is physical when we've demonstrated the contrary. Therefore, she is either delusional or a liar. Now, we're not going to get an address from Chikey, who wants to interrupt that point by saying nobody claims Earth's a sphere. That was his point. That was what he interrupted with.
Wow. As a matter of fact, it's so physical that she even did the little hand gesture of a boat going over the curvature, the physical curvature. As she's describing boats being disappeared because of that curvature, she does the hand gesture like, hey, you know, it's going over a curve. That would have to be physical, right?
This is why I say that the people on the globe side are surplus to requirements. What did we achieve? It took about 8-9 minutes to make a single point with a globe proponent in opposition. Now, did he offer anything? Did he offer a reasonable rebuttal? His rebuttal, whilst interrupting my point he wouldn't allow me to make, was to say, nobody claims Earth's a sphere. Nobody claims physical geometry. Yeah, they do. But what point is having Chaiki or someone like Chaiki here to do that? Literally, what is the point? They offer nothing. Nothing at all.
And now you're mentioning the times that you could actually understand what he was saying, because half the time it's just in the middle of your sentence.
Yeah, an incoherent drone of nonsense over the top of you.
Well, why don't you ask Ed Freeze if he has any scientific evidence for spinning ball space monkey religion?
Well, do you?
Does it really matter? You're just going to deny it again. So
What do you mean deny it, Ed? Yesterday,
any?
so let's give a slight recap for yesterday. I said, please provide scientific evidence. He gave me 2 logical consistency arguments, but the 2 logical consistency arguments that he gave me were abject train wrecks. And I went through them systematically and showed you how they were train wrecks. How you like that?
And then a baller backed you, right?
And then a baller said, Ed, you got to get your act together, man, before you present this shit again. How long you been out here, son?
Who backed you?
Zanuck.
Yeah.
Told him that it was a train wreck.
Zanuck backed you, of all people.
No,
Wow.
Zanuck didn't back him. Zanuck said his arguments were train wrecks.
No, backed you.
Yeah.
Zanuck backed you. An argument against Ed. Ed, wow, bro. that's bad business, bro.
It was really funny. You should have seen his logical consistency arguments. One was a modus ponens, one was a modus tollens. His modus tollens was a friggin' train wreck because if he worded it correctly, it would have been a friggin' affirming the consequent form of logical fallacy. And then his modus ponens was fucked up because he had the wrong antecedent, consequent. He had the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. Ed. So that's not just a hand wave denial. That's called going systematically through point by point and ripping its guts out and then feeding them to my wolf pups.
Assuming a lot of stuff as usual. That's okay.
Thank you. Go ahead, Nathan. He's all yours.
You haven't got an R value.
You don't got any assumptions over there?
Yeah, you got an R value. We've destroyed it, though. Can't assume it anymore. You can't measure it. Only exists in
No, you're
maths.
just denying it. That's a different...
Denying what? That the Earth curve edge is represented at the horizon. It isn't.
Now you're still mixing up words. And it doesn't
Sorry.
matter how many times it's been explained.
Sorry, word salad, is that your rebuttal? No.
Willfully ignorant.
Sorry, willfully ignorance and ad hominem attack. So you got literally nothing. So,
That
no,
sounds like
we've
projection.
debunked the geometric physical sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve. It's not physical. It doesn't exist beyond the mathematics that's reified of Earth curvature. We don't have a geometric horizon. Do you want a few quotes from your own side? When we presented the Black Swan, we're told we don't see Earth curve anymore. We wouldn't expect to see Earth curve. Earth curve only exists in Earth curve maths. That's the rebuttal we've had to the Black Swan.
That's called refraction.
Sorry,
but-
refraction. Deviated from straight, not a tangent line, then not geometry. Yeah, that destroys your argument.
Oh, I get it. You muted Discourse.
Broken.
Yeah, I get it.
Right, what are you talking about? I'm not muting you. I'm responding to you. You need a tangent line to do geometry. And the tangent line will meet the sphere at a tangent point. That's a straight line. If You're saying the horizon's refracted, and it's not geometric, and you can't do geometry. You need a straight line to that geometric horizon.
Yes, we can account for the refraction, but you're just ignoring that as always.
Wait, did you not listen? Do you want to repeat what I've just said? My response. Did you listen to it?
You're just ignoring it.
No, I'm asking you if you're ignoring my response. Can you repeat it back to me so I understand that you listened to it?
I'm actually answering to it by saying we can account for refraction, but you're ignoring that as usual.
Oh, right. You can account for refraction. Refraction isn't geometry, though, and your model's geometric. It requires tangent lines, and now you're talking through me, it seems. It seems that while I'm being accused of ignoring something, while I'm addressing it, I'm getting talked through by Ed. What a shock. So, Ed, I'll try again. Let's see if it's the same number of attempts that I had to go through with Chaiki with you constantly obfuscating this fact.
Yes, okay, go on.
And it's not even me starting before he's interrupting me. I haven't made my point, you've interrupted, Ed, and I'm trying for a second time to reiterate it. Let's see if you'll allow this. No, clearly not. He's going to interrupt again. 4th time. So, Ed, your model is geometric. And to do geometry, you require a straight line. It's called a tangent. It meets the claimed to be physical sphere edge, formerly known as Earth curve, at a tangent point. That's geometry. And your Earth curve is asserted with geometry. Now, if that line to that tangent point is, as you put it, refracted, it's no longer a tangent line. And you can't do geometry.
Are you done? If you account for the refraction, you are left with a straight line, and you can do geometry.
You're an idiot.
Sorry, the line is not straight if it's refracted. That means...
But you can account for the refraction.
Oh, I'm not allowed to respond. Every time I try and respond, I get interrupted. So I'm responding. I've listened to you, Ed.
No, you're ignoring.
I've listened to you, and now you're talking through my response. Every time I respond to Ed so far, without exception, he's interrupted me. I listened to what you just said, Ed. Tried to respond, and you interrupted. By definition, if the line to the tangent point is refracted, it is not geometric.
If you account for the refraction, it becomes a straight line and you can do geometry. Stop skipping over that fact.
Right, account for refraction. Refraction isn't something that you would account for if you are doing geometry.
Yes, you would, because then it would become a straight line, so you can do geometry.
Add your refraction.
Show that.
Why is everybody talking? Jesus wept! For fuck's sake, Arwin, shut up! Alright, you understand what is required to do geometry, a straight line. Hello? To do geometry, you understand that you require a straight line. Yes?
If it's not straight, you can calculate backwards. If you know the effects of how it became curved, so that it becomes straight, and you can do geometry.
Perfect. If you know the effects of how it's becoming... Sorry. I'm, again, trying to respond to you. Please do not immediately interrupt me the moment I open my mouth, Ed. That is the 4th time.
Yeah,
totally unreasonable. And there he goes again. That means shut the fuck up when I talk. I'm not going to tolerate this anymore, Ed, right? I'm trying to have a reasonable back and forth with you, and every single time I respond, you talk through me. Every time. So you're saying that the line that is being bent can be accounted for. So you're saying that the line is automatically assumed to be bent with refraction. But your refraction that's bending this light is based on R. So you would still need R from the geometric tangent point and a straight line, which you do not have to get the R to base this assumption that the light is being bent. So without a geometric tangent point, that's a point that you can draw a straight line to, not bent, not refracted, You haven't got the R value to claim the light's being bent at the rate of R, Ed. So you don't have R to bend the light with if you don't have a tangent point and you don't have a straight line. So you can't back calculate it.
Yes, you do.
I haven't finished, Ed. Interrupting me again. Is it because my demolition of your assumption that you can derive the rate that you're bending the horizon at with an R value that can't be measured because you don't have a straight line to begin with to get geometry from, Ed? Is that why you're constantly interrupting me? Because I'm demolishing systematically your assertion that you can presuppose R when you can't measure R because you don't have a straight line to a physical tangent point. That would be Earth curve. You may respond.
Yeah, that's wrong. That's wrong because you can measure Earth in another way, so you can still derive R from that.
And how would that be?
So what's your point?
How would that be? How would that measurement be made?
Measuring the circumference of Earth, for example, going higher up where there's less air and so less refraction. Stuff like that.
Sorry.
You can think of a lot of ways.
Less refraction.
Radius from the circumference?
Sorry. Less
Where
refraction
did
as
you
you
get
go
the
high.
circumference?
Chocolate, please. Sorry, did you say less refraction as you go high? Wouldn't it go through a gradient as it goes up? Wouldn't that mean that there's more transitions between these different gradients as you go higher? That would be more refraction. What are you babbling about?
If you go high enough, then you can see further with less refraction.
You seem to be mumbling,
Yada,
you
yada, yada.
fucking stuttering, mumbling fuckwit. No! As you go higher, you would have a greater
Ooh.
degree of refraction,
Getting
fuckwit.
angry.
Yo, fuckwit, stop talking. Don't mumble a response to me while I annihilate your stupid shitty claim that you go higher and have less refraction. You'd see more different transitions through a density gradient, as you guys constantly assert. So, no, you're wrong.
Oh, I'm not. If you go high enough, then you're basically in space and you can
Space?
measure it.
Space?
quite
You're
well.
saying you've got
So-
measurements from space? What, a violation of natural
Oh,
law?
did I hit another nerve?
Sorry, why is it that when I try and respond to this claim that pictures have been taken of the circumference from space, I'm being asked if I've had a nerve hit? No, I'm just trying to respond to you, Ed, without you interrupting me asking about my nerves. So I'd prefer I can just respond to this utter horse shit that you can take a picture of a circumference of an Earth from a place that isn't real. No, there's definitely no pictures being taken from a second law of thermodynamics. And of course, he's
You're
interrupting me
assuming
again.
it's not
That's
real.
the end of the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not possible for me to respond to a fundamentalist religious zealot on a single occasion without him interrupting me. It is so triggering to him. It is hitting his nerves so much that every single response to any claim he makes will be constantly interrupted. There is no space. Space is fake. If the sky was a vacuum, the gas we're breathing would fill the space. So this claim that we have a picture from space, a sky vacuum, is debunked by natural law. So no, this isn't another method of acquiring a radius value for a presupposed spherical Earth by way of a claim that you can take a picture of it from a place that doesn't exist. So thankfully, on this occasion, I didn't get interrupted. Perhaps you'd like to respond to that, maybe call it word salad.
If space is fake, why do we need the dome?
Yeah, that's right, you fuckwit globehead moron. You've been lied to. Space is indeed fake. Natural law dictates that the gas we breathe would fill the sky vacuum. Therefore, definitely not real. Definitely no pictures coming from it. You've definitely been defeated here.
That's not what I asked. If space is fake, why do we need the dome?
Sorry, I didn't make a claim about any dome. I made a claim about gas pressure and how it requires containment in order to be here.
No, you talked about space being fake because...
Yeah, that's right. Space is fake. Yeah, I talked about space being fake. Maybe you'd like to address my actual argument.
You finish. You're going to interrupt me?
You haven't got anything to add. You've strawmanned me with a dome. Space is fake. That's right. Gas would fill it if it was real. Therefore, your claim in the actual argument we're having, not this segue onto a different subject, your claim is that you can acquire the R value by way of a picture from space. No. This place you're claiming that we're not going to segue away from isn't real, therefore isn't a way of acquiring an R value. Let's not get sidetracked. No, you're not getting an R value from
you
space.
measure it in another way.
Sorry, so an acknowledgement that when you claimed that the geometric measurement to a physical sphere edge that this woman is either lying about or totally deceived about because it's been debunked by the Black Swan is actually capable of being measured from space, that's incorrect and has been defeated now. We can draw a line under your nonsense
the Black
bullshit
Swan
claim.
is a straw man.
We can draw a line under your nonsense bullshit claim and get back onto the fact that we don't have a physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, capable of deriving an R value, so you can bend light around that presupposition of a sphere Earth with an R value that can't be measured. That's where we were at, and you said, no, I can get it a different way. No, you can't. That has been defeated, Ed.
No, the Black Swan is a straw man, so I don't care about that.
Sorry, a straw man? No, it's the demonstration that you cannot have a claim of a physical reified only existing in maths. We do not expect to see a geometric horizon. You cannot see the geometric horizon. That would be the tangent point that's Earth curve claimed to have blocked boats and buildings in previous discussions. That's been relinquished by your own side. Now, if you want to just simply hand wave it by claiming it's a straw man without any explanation of how it's a straw man, when it's the simple claim of your geometric Earth that's supposed to block boats and buildings with an Earth curve edge that's actually a tangent point known as a geometric horizon existing in geometry that can't be measured from space and definitely wasn't measured with a dip angle measurement by Al-Biruni. It's just a bullshit story about reified maths that doesn't exist in physical actuality. And you can't measure it. You can't measure it from space. You can't measure it because the horizon's not physical. It's not geometric.
I can explain why the Black Swan is a straw man. It says you can't see more than you can't see further than a basic point of geometry.
Spit it out.
But it's ignoring refraction once again.
Sorry, if the horizon is refracted, it's not geometric. Geometry hasn't got anything to do with atmospheric conditions. Geometry is geometry, it's mathematics. You're drawing lines to tangent points. Refraction's got nothing to do with it. Furthermore, in order to do geometry, you need the line to the tangent point to be straight. That is what a tangent line is. If your line to the horizon is bent, you can't do geometry, moron. I've already explained this twice. Now, you haven't acknowledged it, you've interrupted it quite a lot. Now we're back to you asserting the exact same thing. We're not accounting for refraction. Refraction isn't geometry, you moron. I'm going to start insulting you because I've already explained this once.
No, it has to do with what...
Moron! Refraction's not geometry, moron. Are you listening, moron? You're going to get told off. I've already explained this once, you thicko. How many times have I got to explain to retards who think they live on a globe? The refraction isn't going to give you a tangent line, you complete retard.
Oh, I get it. Is Discord muted again?
No, Discord's not muted. You're getting told off, you unbelievable fuckwit clown. Geometry isn't refraction. Geometry requires straight lines, not bent ones. You are a moron. You don't understand what geometry is. And I'm telling you off, you fuckwit clown. You don't understand geometry, you're a fucking moron.
Cute.
Are you a fucking
Black
moron?
Swan says, according to geometry, you can't see further than this, blah-de-blah, but it's not.
Blah-de-blah, that's your religion, the blah-de-blah bit. According to the blah-de-blah, yeah, geometric horizon, physical Earth curve edge. Yeah, that's your belief. And you're going to go blah-de-blah, what, you think your claim of an Earth with a geometric horizon's a straw man?
That's what it is.
The Black Swan is a straw man.
No, you've said that if the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959, every distance to horizon can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's your religion of geometry. That is what you're now saying is a straw man. Well, welcome to Flat Earth. Yeah, the claim that an Earth has a radius of 3959 is a straw man. It's total bollocks.
You fell right into it, you retard.
Yeah, Neil, nobody cares. You're not accounting for the refraction.
You keep going around in the same circle jerk, don't you, while everyone else starts to pipe up. Yeah, third time round in the circle jerk doesn't mean everyone else in Discord's going to pipe up. No, thank you. Just need him to acknowledge that this is the same argument for the third time. I've already told him off. Well, he claimed to be muted. No, you fucktard retard. You don't understand what geometry is. It requires a straight line, a tangent line. And you're going to interrupt while I tell you off for being a fucktard, so you can assert that it's not having refraction accounted for the fourth fucking time, like a retard clown stuck record parrot. No, mate. Geometry isn't refraction. Geometry uses straight lines to tangent points, not bent lines that you can later account for with a R value that you can't acquire, because that's what you're going to bend the light with. I've gone over that twice too. You're just a fucktard retard like Chaiki. You can't actually comprehend things. You're struggling to comprehend this and will undoubtedly now for the fifth time just assert that I'm not accounting for refraction when I've told you now for the third time that geometry isn't refraction based when refraction's deviated from straight and a tangent is straight. You stupid retard. You don't know what geometry is. Nothing to do with refraction. If it's refracted, it's not geometric. That's the end of your model, which is geometric by its assertion. Your claim that a straw man is the P statement in the modus tollens that we call the black swan is to say that your assertion that we've got a sphere Earth is a straw man. So now I've systematically picked apart every bit of your bullshit. What have you got now, fundy moron?
The black swan argument is only valid in a vacuum. We live within the atmosphere, so it's invalid.
So therefore, Al-Biruni couldn't have measured R?
No, you're not responding to my argument.
So therefore, Al-Biruni couldn't measure R is my response, and he tells me I'm not acknowledging what he said.
Black swan argument.
Why is people making loads of noise in Discord when I get to my point about Al-Biruni that's being obfuscated? So, who's making that noise?
It's on your panel.
So, the black swan is only referencing a vacuum, so Al-Biruni couldn't have measured geometry then?
The black swan argument. Vacuum. We live in an atmosphere.
So how did he get the radius?
Chocolate. So,
the point is that you're once again ignoring refraction.
You're ignoring me, it seems. So, according to you, because we have atmosphere, we can't see a geometric horizon. So, Al-Biruni couldn't measure it then?
Couldn't measure what?
The geometric horizon that you've said isn't visible because of atmosphere?
If you know the circumference of Earth.
Sorry, why are you now talking about circumference? My question is about Al-Biruni. You've made it clear that the argument within the peace statement doesn't account for atmosphere. And I have made it clear that Al-Biruni, based on your statement, cannot therefore measure a geometric value of R, as he is claimed to do.
Sure you can.
How? Did he have the atmosphere removed?
If you know the circumference.
Sorry, if we know the circumference, he's measuring it with a dip angle measurement. He doesn't know anything. He's measuring it by a measurement to something you say we can't see unless the atmosphere is not there. Well, it is here, so he didn't measure it then.
Yes, and we can account for the...
We can. Al-Biruni, mate. Al-Biruni didn't have a no-atmo day with no atmosphere. So therefore, by your standard that you've just disclaimed... in regards to the peace statement, that's your religious belief in a sphere Earth. You're saying that's not true because we have atmosphere. Therefore, to assert that we'd have a geometric horizon at the distance that geometry lays down is incorrect because we have atmosphere. Therefore, Al-Biruni could not measure R.
That's your
So
claim.
right into it again, you dummy.
I'm talking about the black swan claim specifically. You're trying to switch it up.
Everybody else, shut the fuck up! Right, I'm not going to tell whoever it is that's talking. I don't care who is Neil, Arwin, Chocolate. Shut up! Go ahead.
I said I was talking about the black swan claim specifically. You're trying to switch it on something very specific within that, and that's a straw man. So, want to try again?
Sorry, you're saying I'm trying to switch a claim from you that the assertion in Modus Tollens, which is that we would see a geometric horizon based on the geometry of Earth at 3959 radius at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, is a straw man because we wouldn't, according to you, see that geometry because of atmosphere. Now, my response to that is that very geometric horizon you say we can't see is precisely what Al-Biruni is claimed to have measured to give you the R value. Now, your response is we can't see it because of atmosphere. So if we can't see it because of atmosphere, Al-Biruni can't see it because of atmosphere. Can he?
But we can account for the refraction.
Sorry, Al-Biruni's not measuring refracted anything. He's measuring R. That's a geometric value. Again, because it seems you're retarded, you don't seem to understand the difference between atmospheric conditions and refraction and geometry with its straight lines and tangent points. Now, Al-Biruni's measuring geometry. But he's not, because according to you, we can't see it, can we? Because of the atmosphere. So therefore, we can't see it. Al-Biruni can't see it either, can he?
If he accounts for refraction, yes, he can.
So, again, he's not measuring geometry then?
Yes, he is.
No,
if
he's
you account
not.
For refraction.
You are thick, and I'm going to tell you off again. You unbelievable clown fuckwit retard. No. You don't have a refracted line if you're measuring geometry. Al-Biruni's claimed to be measuring geometry, and you've made it explicitly clear that we can't see that geometric horizon in the P statement of Modus Tollens, can we? And if we can't see it, Al-Biruni can't see it. And he's not being claimed to be accounting for refraction. He's claimed to be measuring geometry. And just point out for the audience that he's constantly interrupting this again. It's back to me teabagging him with a big smile and him constantly interrupting because his rebuttal is to say, he's interrupting again. His rebuttal is to say, with a hand wave, we can't see the geometric horizon as laid down in Modus Tollens. And Modus Tollens is their religious belief in being on a sphere. So if we can't see the geometric horizon laid down in Modus Tollens, and Modus Tollens is the assertion that we live on a sphere, then we don't see Earth curve, and neither does Al-Biruni.
You can account for refraction.
You keep telling me about that. He's not doing anything with refraction. He's doing geometry. You're a fucking retard. You don't understand what geometry is, does he?
Refraction is secondary to the geometry.
Thank you so much, Arwin. Thank you, everybody who I've told 3 times to shut up. So you don't understand what geometry is. I'll try again. Let's see how many more fucking interruptions from my own side. You are a retard. You don't understand what is required to do geometry. You don't understand what geometry is. You thick shit globe head. Now it's time for a tongue lashing from a flat earther. Not constant interruptions. Me pointing out that you don't understand what geometry is and how thick that makes you. Ed,
you don't understand what...
Don't tell me what I don't understand while I'm telling you off. I have demonstrated that you don't understand what geometry is. It requires a straight line. It's called a tangent to a tangent point. You keep telling me about refracted lines. So at a base level, you're thick. And now you're being educated by me, a flat earther. Yep, the globe head retards demonstrated his stupidity, and now the flat earther, who's in charge, is telling you what's what, pointing out how stupid you are, Ed. Now, I know that you don't like this, and you're going to dance on the tables talking through me, pointing out how I don't understand something with your belligerent rebellion. But I'm still going to highlight with justification while you interrupt me constantly that you are a fucktard retard globehead. And you don't know what geometry is. It's the very basis of your religion. And you've had your religion ripped to shreds here by me, a flat earther. And all you can do is interrupt and obfuscate and dance on the tables while you get told off. But thick you are, and I am going to point that out. You don't understand your own religious belief in geometry, and you don't understand what geometry is or what it requires. You keep talking about things being refracted, and that's not geometry, you unbelievable spastic globehead retard. It's really fun to tell you off, though, Ed, especially while you flap and dance and talk through me while I highlight just how thick you, the globe believer, is.
How thick.
Yeah, thick. Doesn't understand geometry. It's been no less than 6 separate occasions that you've told me about refraction when Al-Biruni is deriving geometry.
Yes, and you still don't.
Yeah, you keep ad-homming me like a belligerent child on top of a desk while he gets told off by the teacher. I have demonstrated that you don't understand what geometry is by explaining on about 7 separate occasions that you need a straight line. But your response to that in every single occasion is to tell me about refracted lines, bent lines, not tangent lines, the things required for your geometric globe Earth belief. But you're thick. You're all retards on that side of the globe Earth. And we're going to educate you, painful though it'll be for you.
Sure, all right, yeah.
Just constantly interrupting me isn't going to change the fact that you're a retard. Don't understand what geometry is,
And
retard.
constantly using Discord doesn't change the fact that you're wrong.
You're lucky I got told to shut up, you moron.
Yeah, you're a retard. You don't understand what geometry is. It's the basis of your religion, though. You thick shit.
You don't understand what refraction is.
Refraction's nothing to do with geometry, and that's what Al-Biruni's doing. Silence! Yeah? Was that me Discord muting, you thick fuck? No, mate. Geometry's what Al-Biruni's doing, you thick fuck.
Yes.
Yes! That's right, you thick fuck. I've got absolute justification in calling you a moron. And highlighting for my audience that the moron here is the globehead, who doesn't understand how Al-Biruni's deriving a geometric value of R. He's thick. Thicko.
If you account for the refraction.
Yeah. Retard. Yeah. Al-Biruni's doing geometry, though. Retard. Thicko. Globehead. Globe believer. Moron. Someone who's being teabagged by a flat earther because he's thick. Globe believers. This is you. This is what you are. Thick. Doesn't matter how many times I tell him he doesn't understand geometry and how stupid he is for it. He's going to dance on the desks and talk
You don't
through
understand refraction.
Yeah, and tell me I don't understand refraction. Well, Al-Biruni's not dealing with refraction. He's dealing with geometry, you thick shit motherfucker.
For the refraction, you're left with it.
Yeah, Al-Biruni's not doing refraction. He's doing geometry, you thick shit motherfucker.
You're dumb.
Yeah, I'm dumb. No, I've demonstrated how you don't understand what geometry is and it's required for your globe belief. We got to the point where you said it was a straw man to use the P statement about Earth being a sphere with sphere geometry because we don't see sphere geometry because atmosphere's removed. And when I point out that Al-Biruni's deriving geometry, we've got stunned silence and I'm told I don't understand. No. You are going to be told off for being a thick retard who doesn't understand geometry and what's required. You don't understand what Al-Biruni's doing. He's deriving geometry, thick shit.
Okay, dumbass. If you
that's what you've got for me. Okay, dumbass. No, I am demonstrating how you are a thick retard because you keep telling me how I need to account for refraction when Al-Biruni's doing geometry. That makes you thick by demonstration. All you've got to come back at me, other than dancing on the tables and talking through me, is to say, no, you're stupid. No, mate, that's not the situation here. The globe side of the argument, that's you in this instance, is a retard. You're all retards on the globe side. You've all been deceived, and you're all, from now on, from here on forward, going to have people like me, flat earthers, humiliating you for your abject stupidity, which is what you've displayed
No,
here.
you can't humiliate.
Sorry, I have demonstrated abject stupidity in what you've said here. Led you down the point where you've told us we can't see Earth curve. Your P statement doesn't account for atmospheric conditions. Your P statement, not my P statement, the globe Earth assertion, is a straw man because we've got atmosphere. All right. Well, Al-Biruni's measuring it. So, he can't be then.
The Black Swan is a straw man.
So Black Swan is a straw man is your response to me pointing out that Al-Biruni, based on your claim that the straw man is the atmosphere's in play, so Al-Biruni couldn't derive R then?
If you account for refraction, sure.
No, it's not doing refraction, it's doing geometry. It's back to me in a reasonable position to point out that you're a thick fuck. You haven't got a clue what geometry is. No, Al-Biruni's not doing that, mate. He's deriving an R value. That's a geometric value based on tangent points. Yeah? So no, mate, not refraction. He's not accounting for refraction. If you actually look it up on Wiki, it even makes a disclaimer that he's not accounting for refraction. You thick fuck. You don't even know your own religion. You don't know what Al-Biruni's doing. You don't know how the story rolls. You're a moron. All of you globe proponents are thick as shit and getting demolished by flat earthers who are humiliating you.
No, you're just muting Discord, aren't you?
I'm not muting you, thick fuck.
Muting?
The fact that you think that because I'm impermeable to your constant interruptions while I tell you off for being thick as shit, you think that that's me muting
as soon
you,
as they
thick
make
shit.
good point. Like
just
now.
because you're Discord rumpusing everything I say. Yeah, you think that that's somehow going to work here. No, mate. No, I don't mind over and over again pointing out with demonstrations how retarded you are. Why'd you keep saying I'm muting you? Is that your... It's the rumpus version of meow, 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 meow. Say in the Discord server, muting me, muting me, muting me, muting me.
I've seen Discord at the same time, and I know you're muting people as soon as they make a good point.
Nobody's making any point, you fucking retard. You've told us that it's a straw man to assert the peace statement in Modus Tollens because we've got atmosphere. And when I point out that, oh right, we can't see geometric horizons because of atmosphere, therefore Al-Biruni can't measure a geometric horizon, you say I'm muting the good arguments. No, I'm teabagging your stupid assertion that a claim of geometric horizons is false because of atmosphere, when a claim of geometric horizons is what's needed to be done by Al-Biruni.
Right.
Right, so are you
In
done?
order to
You're
actually
strong
get
me
to a
again.
refraction, by the way.
Right.
Shut up, Arwen. You're wrong.
You can't even have a
Arwen,
refraction
no.
if you don't have
No,
the
Arwen.
geometry first.
Arwen, you're wrong.
Now you're rumpusing
No.
Arwen. So now you think that by talking constantly through Arwen that somehow you're going to not get teabagged by everybody who's not on your side of the argument. Yeah, it's time for you to get removed. Ed.
Refraction,
You're constantly
refraction.
interrupting
You can't
everybody.
even
I think
establish refraction if you don't have the geometry first.
I'm just going to get
Part
rid of
of
him.
the entire
Arwen.
point that you keep
Arwen.
overlooking.
Can I?
Thank you for
can
the
I
constant
read it from
interruptions,
Wiki
everyone.
real quick?
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
One significant problem with this approach is that Al-Biruni was not aware of atmospheric refraction and made no allowance for it. That's all I wanted to say.
He could not have, because in order to establish such a thing, you have to have a base framework to base it upon, which would be the geometry.
Right.
So it's completely idiotic. You can never say, oh, he didn't do it right or he did do it right, because the refraction is secondary. You can only even come to a conclusion of refraction because you have a geometry to base it on in the first place.
You got it, Arwen. You already said it 3 times. You're exactly right.
Citations posted in Master B, Nathan.
Thank you very much. Sorry to shut you all down.
Oh, you were chewing on that button. We get it.
Well, at the point that he's got nothing left but rumpusing, and that's the point that I'm happy to exclude him from the conversation temporarily, so you can at least make your point, Arwen. So, no account of refraction. That was your rebuttal about 6 times in a row.
Yeah, you muted me again, so I didn't hear.
You're never muted, you idiot!
Yeah, I did eventually. I had no choice because you were constantly rumpusing everything everyone said. So, he didn't account for refraction. It makes it explicitly clear that he did not do that. And the reason he didn't do that is because that's not geometry. Obviously not if he's deriving a geometric R value. That was my point.
Ed, would you like me to read it out for you again? One more time?
Go ahead, Chocolate.
One significant problem with this approach is that Al-Biruni was not aware of atmospheric refraction and made no allowance for it.
Right.
So he's not measuring.
Yeah.
So according to your argument,
3959 cares.
So according,
3959 cares.
I was talking about Black Swan being a straw man.
Yeah,
so.
it's 3959 from
I don't really care.
So he didn't
there
measure
are
it
other
then.
ways to measure the circumference of Earth.
Yeah, we're back to that. But Al-Biruni didn't, did he? Al-Biruni couldn't have, according to you.
Who cares? There are.
Oh, so it's who cares? So we demolish a fundamental part of the argument for globe Earth in terms of Al-Biruni acquiring the R value by measuring a geometric horizon, and your response is who cares? And talking through me constantly, that's your response, who cares?
Yeah, who cares about Al-Biruni?
Well, he's derived your R value that you're going to measure and then say you can't measure, so it's critical.
There's others who can
may I,
measure it
Nathan,
as well,
a few minutes.
No, the others are just a claim that we demolished earlier. So you're going to circle jerk us back to saying that you've got measurements from space? No, you haven't.
Others who just focus on Al-Biruni, so
Al-Biruni didn't
No,
measure
he
it then. That's part of the story is just bullshit. Then you understand that now.
Who cares about Al-Biruni?
Not who cares. You've said the straw man that is the Modus Tollens Black Swan. Well, if that's the case, Al-Biruni's story is immediately, by your own standards, false. Not who cares. You and your assertions are debunking Al-Biruni. But what, who cares? Because we've pointed that out?
Oh, he doesn't like his toy anymore.
We've debunked Al-Biruni with your own words, mate.
No, you didn't.
You did, yeah. You debunked Al-Biruni when you said that the peace statement was a straw man because there was atmosphere. You debunked Al-Biruni with that.
Yep. Yeah, you did, Ed. That's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
And then after realizing that, you said, who cares?
But prior to saying that, he said that Al-Biruni used refraction, and now he says, who cares?
Yeah. You should have read the instructions first.
So let's just get that out of the way. You're right, 10th man. So what your assertion that if he accounted for refraction, you now appreciate that that's incorrect. You were just wrong. Ignorant.
Who cares?
Well, I care because you asserted it as part of your argument, but you were demonstrated wrong by a flat earther. Incorrect. Wrong. Ignorant. Stupid. Retarded. Thick. A moron. A globe believer.
Right.
Yeah, right. You were wrong, you fucking retard. Now you're getting told off for how fucking wrong you were. You've dragged us around in circles about accounting for a fraction, and it makes it explicitly clear, even in Wiki, that he didn't do that. Obviously, because he's trying to derive a geometric value, you fucking retard. But who cares, right? Who cares that the globe-believing fuckwit retard has had his ass handed to him by a flat earther? Who cares that that proves beyond all certitude that you're ignorant fucktard? Who cares, yeah? I care. I care how fucking retarded you globe believers are.
Yes.
I care to highlight it to you. I care. I'm caring so much that I'm going to highlight to you how thick you are, Ed. You don't know your own story. You don't understand why you wouldn't be recounting refraction even though you claimed it multiple times. Ignorant retard. Talking through me. Ignorant retard. You're going to moan when I mute you, you ignorant retard? I'm telling you how ignorant you are, you retard. It's not your turn to tell me something. I'm telling you, you kept saying if he accounted for a fraction. It's made explicitly clear he didn't, making you a fucking retard globehead believer. Yeah, that's what you are, a fucking retard who was wrong. Not who cares. I'm a flat earther while you start talking through me, pointing out how fucking ignorant you, the globe believer, is. You fucking retard, you are thick as shit. You thought he accounted for a fraction, you fucking retard. No, he didn't. And he didn't for all the reasons I gave you that you hand-waved. That would be because he's trying to derive geometry. And you are constantly muttering over the top of me. Aren't you, Ed? Constantly muttering through me. That's another demonstration of being a thicko. A retard who can't listen, but can reassert his same shite over and over again, in spite of how fucking wrong it is. And you can talk through me, highlighting that you've over and over again asserted incorrect nonsense that we've proven wrong, and your only response to that is to move on to something else and say who cares, or talk through the pummeling that you're getting as a result of your abject stupidity demonstrated here today, Ed. You are stupid, and you've demonstrated that. You've made a load of nonsense up that was wrong about refraction. You've debunked the claim that Al-Biruni was measuring geometry with your assertion that P's a straw man. In every respect, you've done very, very badly, Ed. And now you're talking through me again, of course, because you're getting told off. So dance on the tables while I tell you off for how poorly you've done, how thick you are, and how unbelievably intolerable you people are. Yeah, you've wasted our time with an incorrect assertion that Al-Biruni needed to account for refraction. He didn't, or he wouldn't be doing geometry. I pointed that out to you over and over again. You were an intolerable prick like you're being now, talking through me the whole fucking time. Even in the face of being demonstrated wrong, you still think it's justifiable to talk through me. I want to point out how fucking thick you are, which you are, thick as shit.
Dumbass.
No, mate. No, I haven't asserted that Al-Biruni needed to account for refraction when it's made explicitly clear that he didn't do that because he wouldn't be doing geometry, as I pointed out to you. That's not me thick. That's you thick. Globe believer thick. Ignorant globe believers. That's what we have here, Ed. You're one of them. A moron.
Yeah.
Yeah, a moron. Getting told off by the smarter, better informed, flat earther. That's me. The one justified in calling you a fucking retard.
Ooh.
Yep, you've got nothing on me, mate. Yeah? I've got you telling us how refraction needs to be accounted by Al-Biruni, even though the citation on screen for the audience right now makes it explicitly clear he isn't doing that. I made it explicitly clear he can't be doing that because that's not geometry and wouldn't give him an R value. You've been dragged around like the thick fuck you are for quite a prolonged period, with you interrupting constantly. The one who's the most stupid and most ignorant is the one kicking up the most fuss and making the most Discord rumblings, right? That's you, the thick one, Ed. The one getting told off by the flat earther.
Yeah, say it again.
I will. You're a thick shit globe head believer.
You will, yes, I know you will.
Yeah, I know I am. Calling you thick, because you are. Globe believer, thick. Demonstrated so.
You're shouting at people.
Sorry, no. Ed, you're really, really stupid. You think refraction's the answer for everything. That makes you dumb.
It's because the Black Swan doesn't take refraction into consideration.
Your mic, you stupid
and you've been told it so
Get
many
out.
times.
Get out. That's the last straw. Get out.
What a...
Copying me. Mimicry. That's what they've got.
Gave him a lot of leash.
Yeah. He had only one ground left to go, and that was na. Na, na, na.
Give...
No, you. You're stupid. Because you completely broke his argument, and then he thought he had a rebuttal.
Set him up.
And then we broke that, and now, there's nothing left but na.
He broke his own argument.
He didn't have an argument.
Exactly.
The only thing he has is what he's heard on Gem Pandas and Jose's telling everyone that the conditional statement of the Black Swan is a straw man. Remember, we dealt with this like 4 months ago.
Yes.
Drive on.
And the response is welcome to flat Earth. If P is a straw man, that's the basis of your religion.
Yeah, essentially they're saying that their sphere, Baltard spinning space monkey religion is straw man. That's essentially what they're saying, but they're too stupid to realize that that's what it actually means. It's quite the spectacle.
The Black Swan's epic. Every which way they turn, they're essentially defeating their own argument.
Yes, sir.
I remember a few shows ago, if it can't be seen, it can't be measured. So Al-Biruni's doing geometry, and he said he saw it. They're scrambling now because their only answer is refraction. And the only way you could see it in the geometric fashion is if there was no atmosphere. So then Al-Biruni's story falls apart. So what do? 7 over 6R? R what? You don't even know where that is.
Right, because you need the R for the radius for refraction, like Arwin said. He summarized it. That's how funny this is, because he's exactly right. So it's a circle jerk into vapor from vapor.
Yeah, you can't bend light at the rate of R if you haven't got R.
Yeah. And you can't find R if it's refracted. So
no
it's
R.
a never-ending circle jerk.
Well, how would you even establish that there is such a thing if you don't know the geometry of what you're looking at?
Right.
You can't even come to a conclusion that way.
You can't. But they've got a narrative for that. They've got Aristarchus assuming the sphere, and then every single step along the way from there on out is the assumption of the sphere's first step in every single methodology, right?
Yeah.
Right, but you have to presuppose then what the radius is instead of measuring it, which is what Al-Biruni was supposed to be doing. And yeah, that doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I would say that the black swan is a twofer. It not only did what it did here in 2020, but we went back to Al-Biruni and undid what he did.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the part in their story where they take the abstract maths and assert that it actually took place in physical reality. It's a big mistake on their part. Because that's where...
Two for Tuesday.
2 for Tuesday. It's Thursday.
And not... It's Thursday.
Yeah, but it's Thursday, Neil.
And this goes out on Saturday.
No, it's not. It's
No,
Tuesday.
he said two for Tuesday. Two for.
Right.
Yeah, but it's still Thursday. That's what I said.
And this
No,
goes
it's
out on
not.
Saturday.
And this goes
Bringing
out
a
on
ball
Saturday.
up. It's not Thursday. It's Tuesday.
It also destroys the only way you could see R is without atmosphere. So how about 3?
Yeah, atmosphere. That's a contradiction in terms.
Yeah, that too. Okay, let's go for 4 then. Well, this is the end. When you beg the question and you allow people with logic to have definitions be what they should be, and you go point by point, begging the question doesn't end well.
No, you're right. And in any other arena, it wouldn't be tolerated. It's only in the zealotry that is globe earth religion that you have to go into the actual begging the question fallacy to debunk it. I mean, it's absurd, right? It wouldn't be tolerated in any other arena of discussion.
No, not at all. In fact, we can't see it, but you need it to have the refractive index to be refraction. And the only way you could see it is if there was no atmosphere, and some guy named Booby, as QE calls him, Al-Biruni, did have one day on this earth without atmosphere to get it because he didn't know about refraction and never equated refraction. They're in so much caca, it's ridiculous.
Anybody want to add anything else before I round out?
Yeah. Ballers. Get stuffed!
And with that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in the Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!